Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 181 of Geeks Chasing Squirrels Across the Multiverse. That number is getting big. And hell yeah, Ross, we'll do it live. Screw it.
There you go.
23 minutes late. A lot of stuff to talk about before we get on here, which is funny because we have a lot of stuff to talk about before we get on here, which is just great because we're friends and we have a lot of stuff to talk about. But not much to talk about tonight on the show, to be truly honest with you. Not really a whole lot. We're coming here tonight to cover a little bit of news, maybe talk some trailers, chase some squirrels, and then I guess we got the Titans season finale, or excuse me, series finale. Series finale. Well, both are correct. And that's it. Like, there's not much else. I know we got Jack Ryan starting next week. We got some movies coming out. We got some guests coming on, but this is a very short week for us. So I'm here with my homies, as always, to do things. Sarah, what's up?
I'm going to say the whole cliche. This has been a week of Mondays.
I forgot today was Friday, to be honest with you. Yesterday was my day off. When I came back to work today, everybody was like, oh, it's Friday, celebrate. And I was like, fuck, it's Friday? For real? Oh, shit.
Man, this week
I didn't even realize that. Yeah.
Man, since the beginning of the year, it has been just straight up wild. I'm like, can anything just kind of settle down? Oh my gosh, it's been nuts. It's been nuts. It's kept me on my toes. I'll say that much. So, but at least this week didn't end as depressing as some of the other weeks. But man, it's just been, like I said, it's just a week of the Mondays.
I hear you. This week has been long. I agree, but I can also agree. I don't think it's been as depressing as some weeks this year. It's definitely not been the worst week of the year, but it's been a long week for sure. Can't believe it's Friday right now. Yeah. Ross, what's up?
I'm sitting here trying to imagine, like, you just said that we're getting Jack Ryan again. I don't even know what's going on. I didn't even pay attention to the date. I don't even know. Like, after Guardians was coming out, I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen until
blacked out.
There's going to be like a Memorial Day. I'm going to wake up and we're going to party some more. And then before that, you got to make sure Mother's Day, which did celebrate today, at least the start of it. We're going to turn it into a 3-day event because moms, why not? I mean, I've just been busting my butt all week. I don't know what to tell you. I've tried to watch what's so funny? I'm going to bring this up a little bit later, but I'm going to start it off right now. My phone always tells me, it's like, hey, here's the stuff that you're watching. We track it. A new episode came out today. Like Star Trek, Picard, new episode. Star Wars, new episode. This, new episode. It did not tell me that the new episode of Titans was out. And I'm like, I'm going to take this as a sign because I didn't even know it was Thursday. And I wasn't even paying attention until Sarah texted me.
Yeah. I kind of get that. First off, before we get too deep into it, Ross, tell your mom I said Happy Mother's Day. She's like a second mother to me, and I love her so much, and I appreciate it. So just tell her I said, hey, give her a hug for me.
Sure.
Yeah. No, I agree. This, like I said, this did not feel like a Titans finale, a series finale, a season finale. Like usually when something like that comes up, it's on the back of my mind. I'm thinking about it. Honestly, I didn't even think about it, like you said, until Sarah last night texted us like, Titans is done. Like, I've watched Titans or whatever you had said. And I was like, oh, shit, I forgot. That's over now. I got to watch that. And it's not a good sign. Not a good sign. So, okay. Do y'all want to talk about Titans first or any other news? Once again,
let's get all the other business out of the way.
Business out of the way, then get Titans out of the way, probably forever, right? Close the books on it, be done. All right. Let's get the other stuff out of the way. Ross,
I want to start with, hold on, before news. Has anyone been watching anything else? Because I feel like I've been watching on and off a bunch of other things. And I mentioned a few of them. And I mean, there's so many other shows that I watch now that like we don't cover that like I actually find enjoyment in. And we're going to reach that true actual lull in probably this year right now, right before blockbuster season hits and we get the June, July releases. So
okay,
I don't know what you guys have been watching, but I started more shows, and I'm gonna tell you, Apple TV started with Silo. It's a new sci-fi. It's a banger. I'm really liking it. It's a crazy idea. There's so many other good feel good shows on that thing right now. Ted Lasso's about to end too. I'm trying to hold on to that one. I really like Ted Lasso.
Is that a series finale with Ted Lasso?
It will be a series finale. The third season is the
3 seasons. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a
Well, that's
real
cool because whenever I get Apple TV, then I know I only have 3 seasons to catch up on. Because I want to get it bad. I just haven't had the chance to yet.
think
Go ahead.
about.
Sorry.
No, what have you been watching?
To be truly honest with you, man, I have not been watching anything. I nothing new. I found myself look. Okay, I'll be vulnerable here. My entire life, and I'm not going to go deep into this. My entire life, I've ignored politics. Okay, and for the last, I'd say 6 months to a year, and at least for the next year on, I've been really going heavy on studying things. So for the most part, when I don't have something I need to watch for a show or something just comes out that I've got to see, I'm kind of just following politics. And when I say that, I don't necessarily pull for one or the other. I like to listen to a lot of different points of views. I like to see debates. I like to watch a news story I like to read an article from this news story that leans on one side, then go read the same article from another news story that leans on the other side, and then kind of find the middle. And what I'm trying to do is really encompass everything that has to do with it. So beyond watching shows we have to watch for this, that's really what I do. And the best kind of news right now I think you can find is independent news journalists that are reporting on factual evidence of things that are happening, not stuff written up for media to propaganda to portray to you, you know. And it's just my opinion. Everybody can have their own thing, but to be honest, that's all I've been watching lately. I'll find myself not even turning my television on. I'll be home for 5 hours with my television not on, just watching different videos on YouTube and different opinions, different things, because I feel like I haven't given my part in learning about this, but I've damn sure done more bitching than I'm worth. So when I look at it like that, I'm like, well, I don't want to bitch about it anymore and not be part of the solution. So it's a matter of me finding what's the best solution. So for me, that's what it is. I've just been going into politics. I've been diving into all sides of everything. Ross, you've recommended stuff to me. I've recommended stuff to you. Like, and I try to encompass what everybody thinks because everybody's opinion should be heard. I don't say everybody's opinion matters because, to be realistic, some people's don't. Like your opinion doesn't mean nothing. It's just you talking. But you have to listen to it to discover what that is. You know, so
Sure.
that's all I've been really doing lately. I haven't had any shows to watch this week beyond the Titans finale. So for me, it's been kind of a detox from fantasy and dive into reality and figure out what's going on in the world that I'm living in and what I can best do to serve the people that I'm around and myself and my family. So yeah, sorry, little diatribe there, my
No.
fault, but yeah,
You gotta find your center in that stuff. I took it on like very early on. Like I felt like in my early 20s, I kind of went through that phase, and I've been holding like pretty steadfast to like my own beliefs. And the problem is what you just described, is that when you get home, if that's the thing that you go towards, if that's the idea that you gravitate towards, it can truly suck you in, because Lord knows any algorithm will do the same thing that everything else does. It'll just keep bringing you the stuff that will either piss you off or amaze or entertain you.
mm-hmm.
And we've had our conversations, but I've been all over this world and seen all countless different things, good, bad, ugly,
Which most
like,
people haven't, who have an opinion, which most
horrible.
people haven't. Just
Right.
that's a very big point right there. So go ahead, sorry.
And so and you talk about this, it goes with anything. Because since we talk about entertainment, when you see how entertainment can be so polar,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I only always go back to it because it is so divisive, really is the way you say that word. Star Wars just has those moments where you're like, why are you so angry about these things?
Yeah.
And like, you cannot like it and walk away from it. It's perfectly okay. Lord knows there's countless shows. That's why I always want to know what people are watching, because that
Mm-hmm.
starts off the general question of like, hey, what are you into, and where is it bringing you into the fold of entertainment? Because like, I'm
Right.
all for all sorts of different things.
Mm-hmm.
Prime example, this new show that I had just mentioned on Apple's Silo. It is the idea that these people have been stuck in this silo for 150 years. They have an idea of like what's going on up to that point, like that pastime. But like like they're definitely stringing you along to get you to believe that you, as the all-seeing point of view, think that you know what's going on and you're going to figure it out, but you may not. And
So
the idea, go ahead.
is it like Blast from the Past, but like more serious? Do
The
you remember
Silo
that
is
movie?
massive. Yeah, I totally remember that movie.
Okay,
Because
because that's kind of the same concept, right?
Yes.
Okay,
But imagine it on a, I don't even know how many different people, but you're talking like,
a much larger
I'm
scale.
under the ideas like 100 different levels, and
Okay,
each of those levels have countless amounts of families.
so a
And there's
culture,
definitely like a,
society, rather than a family.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
gotcha.
like a whole entire society built around
Okay.
it. And the idea is that, their past was destroyed during a great rebellion. And, here you have all of their, I always want to go back with the Luke Skywalker, but those were the sacred texts. All of their things that they held on to, like hard drives with information and everything else, were destroyed during the rebellion. And it's kind of like this uprising 150 years ago that, as in this place. And they don't know what happened prior to that. And so it's almost like it's a crime to say, I want out. Because the moment you say those words, they put you in a suit and you go out and you clean, and what you're cleaning is the camera that shows you the outside world. Yeah, you're going out to your death is essentially what's happening.
Right.
But it's definitely ominous. You don't really know what's happening. So
Okay.
when you bring in, that's why I say I want to know what everyone else is watching, because stuff like that intrigues me, and I find it in the weirdest places. Oh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he was asking us to watch From Forever, and I just finally got access to it. And I'm gonna watch the movie finally, and it's only been out for, I don't know, 4 or 6 months.
From
And
Forever?
no, From. I think it was an MGM movie, and
Okay.
it was on their service, but I got it to watch it finally. So
Okay.
I'm gonna sit down, and I put movies on, podcasts on. Clearly, you and I go back to the political thing. I listen to entertainment and politics are the two things that I
Yeah,
listen to.
that's honestly my life
Yeah.
now. I've kind of
And
cut sports
football
out
when
of
it comes
it.
back around, because I keep up
Yeah,
with that.
exactly. Yeah. Well, Sarah, let me ask you, because I don't want to cut you out by any means. What have you been watching this week?
Well, I definitely don't have a follow up to that, but well, typically whenever we watch anything, like I told you, Brian and Claire have been watching Walking Dead, so they're like all that. Once they finish that, they want to see the other one, Stick of the Devil. But anyways, usually like when we get the family together, we probably like rewatch The Office a couple of times,
Hell yeah.
and now. Apparently, the algorithm on TikTok is letting me know, hey, Sarah, you used to like watching this. Let's show you some TikToks to get you back into it. So I've basically started rewatching House.
Okay.
Oh,
I've seen bits and pieces of
love
House.
that
Good
show.
show. Yeah, good show.
I
didn't
watched
follow it, but yeah.
when it was on TV at that time. I mean, I watched it.
I like the actor, the main character.
Hugh
in House.
Laurie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hugh Laurie was really good in that. But man, he really fell off in that HBO show that they tried to make. It's like a space hotel.
Wow.
I don't remember the exact name of it, but it was like something 5. I was just like, stick with you. You played the one character phenomenally.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can come out with another one.
Well, you know what it reminded me of is, you remember Scrubs? I love Scrubs. Great show. The head nurse, I guess, from Scrubs. I can't remember his name. He's in a ton of stuff. I don't know why. The only thing I think of is he was in was what was the movie with Alcatraz and Nicolas Cage? The Rock.
Oh, The Rock, yeah.
Yeah. So like, he kind of reminds me of him without comment, but a little less comedic, a little more serious. Like, he did a great job in that show. I never followed it, but I've seen plenty of episodes or seen plenty of different clips of it, and it's a good show. It just didn't really ever resonate with me to watch it, mainstream. I think that was the time in my life, though, to be honest with you, because that was like right before streaming was the big thing, right? And cable was still what everybody watched things on.
House was kind of at that peak.
Yeah, it was right at that breaking point.
But it came on Fox, didn't it? I think it was on. Yeah, I think it was.
I lost contact of what shows came on what network after I stopped watching The Simpsons and
Sure, that's only like however
Yeah,
many
so
seasons. Like, at what point?
right.
Where is your timeline on
When I
that?
stopped
Because
watching, 10 years before the movie came out. So what,
I
20
feel like
years ago,
Simpsons
and
have
it's
been
still
on
10
since
years
like
old.
the dinosaurs died.
But that's the thing about House. I mean, it's just one of those shows where I remember it was one I kept up with, and like even when I would see clips on, like I said, TikTok clips, I'm like, oh, I remember this. So it's like a lot of stuff I remember that. So I'm just like, now it's streaming on Peacock, so I'm like,
Okay. Okay.
You got the Peacock Plus? You got that?
I
Or you
don't
just got
have
the
no.
standard?
Yeah, I'm just
Are you
standard cock.
paying
No,
for it or
no, no,
not
no
paying
plus
for it?
cock for me.
I'm paying for it because I'm
You are
not
paying
paying
for
for
it?
no damn commercials. Now I will say, even though I'm doing that, they do have some movies that will have like something in between it.
Really? You're turning your back on commercials? I think commercials are a good part of television.
I grew up with them, and
They
Oh,
now
help
I have
keep
the
things cheaper.
option.
horrible
I don't
thing.
care. I don't
They
care.
help keep
I don't
things
care.
cheaper. Just telling you.
Stream.
And you get to learn about what the best leading laundry detergent is.
Oh
So
my
why
I
not?
god.
already know
Why do you not
that.
want
I mean, what
commercials?
is
Yeah.
it?
Okay, so this raises a question, Sarah. Did you have any other shows you're watching? Because if you don't, I have a question that's come out of all of this, and we don't have a lot of things to talk about tonight, so we can just kind of bullshit the whole night or things going on.
Like I said, I really haven't watched anything. I mean, it's
Okay.
like I said, I'm just kind of, there's nothing really out there that's really caught my attention. I mean, there's stuff I want to watch, but by the time I get to it, it's either got to be something I can watch with the kids, or either I'm just so damn tired, I just melt into the couch. And by the time if I do watch something, it's in the back. I mean, I still watch my Blue Bloods though. I did keep up with that, my old lady show. But I mean, I'm trying to find something I can just watch, like a Sunday morning or something like that, before them kids come in there and try to take over everything.
I hear you. All right, well, cool. Well, this raises a question for me then, and we could actually go on for a long time by this one, but this is on the spot, but just off the top of your head, let's play Desert Island, and let's play it with different television shows, and let's keep it to television, okay? And I say we do sitcoms, action, and animated. We think of Desert Island. If you could never see anything else for the rest of your life, what would these three things be? So think of three. Give you a couple of minutes, and I can go ahead and go with the sitcoms because I already know right off the top of my head exactly what they are. Like it's never going to be different for me, I don't think, and that's it. That's all there is to it.
Okay.
It's going to be Friends, Big Bang Theory, and Office. Period. I can watch all three of those shows over and over and over again, playing in the background, no problem for the rest of my life. Still laugh at the jokes, still think it's great, and relate to it because I grew up with Friends. Office was in the college part of my life, and then Big Bang Theory is the most recent part of my life with my wife and everything else going on. So like it's just it sticks with me in my memory. Meanwhile, I put any one of those three shows on, and if I don't put the sleep timer on the TV, it'll play for a day and a half straight on my television if we don't turn it off. And me and my wife don't care because it can be on in the background, no problem. Because I've seen it so many times, I don't care if I miss it. But if I'm bored and I want to pay attention to something that I love, it's right there. So those three for me are my sitcoms, Desert Island. If I could never watch anything else for the rest of my life, give me those three shows and I'd be okay as far as sitcoms go.
Man,
what say you?
I do like Big Bang. It's just a good show. I mean,
Yeah.
I like the comedy.
It's just
of
funny. It may be like cliche or like whatever, but it's a good show. I don't care what people say. You know,
a lot. It's been described many times. They said that Rick and Morty was a dumb show for smart people, and then Big Bang was a smart show for dumb people. And I'm like, I don't know how you make that idea pop up in your head, but I like Big Bang. Parks and Rec, absolutely love it.
Parks and
I
Rec is
love
amazing.
Parks and Rec.
I'll give you that. It's amazing. Yeah.
Oh man, a third one that I am struggling with. Desert
Oh,
Island
come on. There's
sitcom, third one.
Seinfeld.
I
Seinfeld was
wasn't.
so hard to leave on my
I
list.
didn't
So hard to leave off my list.
care for that era, and that's not. I have a problem with any of the show itself. The show itself works, but I'm the type of person that definitely sees Jerry Seinfeld as the one that like he always raises his voice and he has to say things, and then like
I hear you.
that wasn't. I really liked How I Met Your Mother. I guess maybe
That was a
like,
good one. Yeah,
as like that
that's a
show,
good call. Yeah,
and being very
could watch that a
thematic
lot,
for
yeah.
Mother's Day. So
Mhm.
that was
Okay.
definitely a good one.
Sarah,
What you got, Sarah?
did I get you?
Well, I mean, I would probably Big Bang Theory, obviously, because that's something that we can always because we relate to it. I mean,
Right.
it's I mean, it's so relatable. It's insane.
I've
I'd
never
probably
been left stranded on the side of the road in my Picard outfit, though. I mean, we're gonna get
Not
out and
yet.
take pictures, and then
Not yet, brother. But
True,
we're all three going to
true.
go to one eventually, and we'll see
Mhm.
what happens.
Right,
we'll
you're
see
not
what
wrong.
happens.
You're not wrong.
And I'd probably have to say The Office as well because I mean, like I said, it's been
Yeah.
played in the house countless times.
Mhm.
But another one that we watch a lot that it's The Middle.
The Middle,
Yes, that's the one that had Patricia.
not
Heaton.
Malcolm in the Middle.
No, it's The Middle.
Okay.
Has Patricia Heating in it,
Okay.
and it's basically it's just an average middle class family in like Indiana, and they've got 3 kids. You got Axel, you got Sue, you got Brick, and I totally relate to Frankie.
Oh yeah, I do remember that show now.
So I mean, and we've watched that countless times because I swear, Gage is Axel. It's like it's the whole that kind of shit, and it's like super relatable. So I mean, it's I'm like,
Was
I
Sue
hear
the
you.
one with a bunch of mouth gear?
yeah, she had like this big braces,
Okay.
and she was like
Yeah,
the most
yeah,
awkward
okay.
thing
Yeah.
ever.
Just make
Bless
sure
her
I was on
heart.
the same page.
Yes, and then Brick, he
Oh,
would talk to himself, talk to myself, that kind of thing. So, yeah, that's a really good one. And that's when you find that it's on all the time or whatever. Like, I was never really big on Seinfeld. I was, honestly, I was never really big on
love it.
Friends. I mean, because it was
Really?
like,
Me
it was
neither.
fun to watch, but I mean, it's not like I was 100% obsessed with it.
No,
My
I get that.
sister, who is 14 years younger than me, loves it. And I'm
Right.
like, I guess it just skipped me. Like it just skipped whatever I was into.
I mean,
because
I watched
didn't
it.
watch
I got it. I mean, I
Yeah.
wanted the Rachel
Yeah.
haircut. I wanted that, but I was just like, this shit's too perfect. I don't know. I just don't.
Well,
Hello.
yeah. Here's my thing: is Friends is basically the Big Bang Theory of 20 years ago. Okay, I grew up with Friends. I had 2
Mhm.
sisters growing up, so and my mom. So Friends was on in my house, and my wife loves it. So beyond the fact that like I could tolerate it or at least think it was a good show, decent show
Mhm.
growing up, my wife loves it. So of course I want to watch it more. So yeah, for me, it's something I can definitely put on. I can play Friends, Trivial Pursuit, and probably kick ass in it because I've seen so many episodes so many times. But I get it. Like I totally get it. Like it not being that part of that thing.
Community.
Okay.
I loved Community.
Oh my
also.
God.
Community was
Really
amazing.
loved that show.
And that's what I'm doing. I'm right now. I'm making a like Fringe list that are things that like probably wouldn't be my desert island show, but like man, I would fucking miss it. My Name is Earl. I love that show. I love that show so much. It is such a good sitcom. If you've never watched My Name is Earl, it's on Roku TV, I believe,
I think
for
you're right.
free. Yeah, so just go check
If
that
you
out.
don't know
It's
who
an
Earl
amazing show.
Hickey is, I hate
Exactly.
it for you. I hate
Exactly.
it for you.
Jason
Um,
Lee did such a job in
Yes.
that
I love
show,
Jason
man.
Lee. He's an amazing actor. I love him, man. He has
Yeah.
range. That guy
He
has
does.
range.
He
So
plays the same character, but his range for that same character is very, very much like across the board widespread.
And it still blows my mind that Joy, that actress, she's from Kinston.
Really?
She's
Jamie
from
Presley.
Kinston.
That's
Yeah.
right. No, yeah, you're right.
She's from Kinston.
And who doesn't love Jamie Presley? For real.
You're my sister. You're my brother. You're my brother.
I'm in the pig. I'm in the pig.
Hey,
love
Crab
it.
Man.
There you go, crap, man. I love it. Every part about that show is just amazing. I love that show. That's one of the ones that I started rewatching because I saw it was on free, and I was like, "Oh, I'm going to start from the beginning and rewatch it." It's
And wasn't
great.
that one of the last shows that she saw Burt Reynolds on? No, was it Burt Reynolds? No, was it
Burt Reynolds wasn't there.
or,
Yeah. No, Burt Reynolds was the owner of the strip club.
Actually,
yeah,
that
and
sounds
then
right.
his
Time-wise.
son was Norm Macdonald, wasn't it?
His son was Norm Macdonald. That's right. That might be one of the last shows you see either one of those characters in. To be truly honest with you, because that's not a very old show. It's what 10 years old now, maybe.
No,
I don't even know if it's that old.
No, it was 2000s, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like,
I was in the aughts.
Okay, I don't know. It's not insanely old, but it's definitely of another generation where a lot of things
Go down that
you see
street.
a lot of things you see in that right now would be
IMDb.com.
canceled on TV if you saw it. Yeah. Okay, another one for me is Rules of Engagement. I love Patrick Warburton. So like if you've never
Him, but
seen him and David
Spade,
Spade,
man.
if you've never seen this show is so hilarious. I've watched it from beginning to end probably 4 or 5 times, and it's one of the ones that I bought an entire streaming service just to be able to watch. Like, I love the
2005 and
show.
2009.
I thought that
For
right. Yeah.
My Name is Earl.
Earl.
My Name
Wow.
is
There were
Earl.
4
Okay.
seasons.
So about almost 20 years. Wow.
Came out September 05.
Okay.
And
But no, I love
they hit
Rules of
that writer
Engagement.
strike right in the middle of that one.
I'm trying to think of any other sitcoms that are like right there on the edge for me that I would probably really, really miss.
What about Cheers?
Cheers is a good one. Good pull. Old show, but hell yeah. I love Cheers. Hell yeah. Shit, if you're going to go back to there, I can go back to Roseanne.
But I'm just saying,
and
it's
Family
like,
Matters and Full House and all those shows. Those are all friend shows, you know? Step by Step.
Let's see. Chuck. Absolutely, you got to add Chuck in there. Chuck was a damn good show. Loved it.
Like I said, I found the episode that I watched when I was in labor with my child. Yes.
Chuck?
Yes. So it was a Monday night.
I'm trying to figure out if that's a good or a bad thing to ask a follow-up question too.
No, because
Right.
that was one of those things because I watched Chuck. It was every Monday night at like 8:00. That's when Chuck came on NBC. And I happened to go in labor like that morning, and I'm just there, already have my epidural or whatnot. And I kind of look at the clock, and it's 8:00. I'm like, hey, Brian, y'all need to move, because the TV was over in the corner. I said, y'all need to move. He said, what? I said, Chuck's on. Chuck's about to come on. He's like, Sarah, I don't have nothing else to do right now. Y'all move the hell over, turn that damn TV on.
Right.
And I watched it.
That's right. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Give it to her.
The League. Oh, for fantasy football people, that show was absolutely
I've seen
funny.
episodes of the League. League's pretty good.
That show was hilarious. Like I loved it. I watched the whole thing from start to finish.
You know what? I'll go ahead and say it. Hilarious show. Letterkenny. I don't even care. Letterkenny's a great show.
That is on my list.
It sounds really stupid. Look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. If you watch the first few episodes of Letterkenny, you're going to think it's so dumb. But after like a few episodes, you're starting to say the things they say and think the things they think. And you're like, holy shit, this is actually pretty funny. I love Letterkenny.
To be fair.
Like, I love Letterkenny.
Oh my God, yeah.
And actually, you can go see them. They're like the Tenderloins for, what are the Tenderloins on? Impractical Jokers. They go do stand-up. Letterkenny does. So all those characters.
They came to Durham.
And they're actually coming out with a new show. Huh?
They had a live show. It came to Durham not too long ago, sometime last year.
And they have a new television show too, where the main character from Letterkenny, the Dwayne, is that his name?
Tell it where he's Shorzy?
No, not Shorzy.
Okay.
Well, because he was Shorzy in the entire thing. You find that out in the last episode of the whole series, which is spoilers. You find that out. He is Shorzy. But yes, Shorzy is the show. Yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I love Letterkenny. That's one.
I was so excited when I had that last season come out. I'm just like,
Yeah. Trying to think.
Did you ever watch Californication?
I did, but I wouldn't call it a sitcom.
No,
that's more of a drama. Yeah, but Californication was really good with David Duchovny.
Yeah, I'm just trying to go back and think of shows.
That was really good.
Yeah. What's the next category?
Well, we have two more. We have animated and action, and I'm going to go to animated because I'm sitting here trying to think about it while I'm going, and for some reason I'm having a really hard time capturing action. But I have 3 animated right off the top of my head that will forever be something I want. So I'll start it off right away. Family Guy, animated show that I've got to watch. Actually, I have 4. South Park, got to have it. Like, I love South Park. King of the Hill, because King of the Hill is fucking amazing. I don't care what anybody says. And Spider-Man the Animated Series from when we were kids, because I don't care how old that is. Yeah, I don't care how old it is. When I watch that show, I love it and I'm interested, and I know it's going to happen, but I'm still like, oh my gosh, it's Spider-Man. That is Spider-Man for me. That Spider-Man is Spider-Man for me.
But that's why I'm so excited for the X-Men 97 to return.
I am.
I gotta tell you, I want to see what they're going to do with it, because the X-Men show was the animated show that I watched when it came to like Marvel stuff. DC, probably Batman the animated series. But
look,
so much. There's so many animated shows. I go to funny just like you did, but go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say I'm excited for that too, Ross. I really am because I loved X-Men too. And it's fringe animated like shows that I would put on my desert island list. I'm scared of what they're going to do with it.
I don't know. I've the stuff that I've seen looks very, very well done and tasteful for the time. So
And I get that, and that's animation and how it looks.
you're talking about plot.
I mean plot and story.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know what you're talking about.
And that doesn't mean that I think I'm going into it with a negative mindset and I think they're too bad, but it is in the back of my mind. I'm worried about it because nowadays things are changed quite a bit, and it doesn't necessarily progress the story. It's just change for the sake of change. And I'm hoping
there is that
they don't.
difference.
Right. I'm hoping that they just put a good product out. I'm going to give it a chance. I'm going to watch it. I'm excited for it because I love this show too. But I do have a fear in the back of my mind of where this show is going based on who is creating it and what the agendas are of people writing stories going forward.
Fair.
Yeah, that's fair. So,
but at the same time, don't be scared. That's all that I can say.
No, yeah, I get it.
Don't be upset.
Well,
like,
I have the right to be upset.
I want a good story. I'm
right.
with you there.
But here's the thing: if I'm upset, I just don't have to watch it.
True.
So that's all there is to it. If I'm upset, I don't have to watch it. So
let's think. Animated. Archer. Fucking Archer.
Ooh,
love Archer.
Good call. Yeah.
I am all the time like no one gets it. I'm like Lana, and everyone else is freaking out, and I'm like, no one else watches it. Fucking Archer is fantastic. Cartoon Network, man. Let me the Boondocks. Taking it. The Boondocks was a fantastic animated show. It was a the story was two young like black kids, and like I don't know whether their parents couldn't take care of them or it was they went to go live with their granddad, and granddad was old school, and so it was very much come with the times. Like, you know, they're shooting each other with airsoft guns. It's one kid acts like a fucking prophet and the other kid tries to be like hood rich. It's so fucking funny. I love it. I absolutely love it. When years ago when Bobby and I lived together, him and I went deep on a Boondocks watch, and like that was like when the second season was coming out. We rewatched the first season. Oh man, let me tell you, it's so good.
When you say Bobby, you mean B digit?
Yep. Okay. Digital. Yep.
Yeah, he's not watching, so I know he's not gonna be mad. But even if he does, sorry, buddy, you can't outlive that name. Yeah. That's way back with me and Ross right there. Sorry.
Number 3. Animated show. I mean, definitely being young, and of course with the current movie coming out, you know, Beast Wars was a massive thing for me.
Oh, good call. Yeah.
I loved it. I don't know though, but you're right. I like Family Guy, but South Park is so current. If you ever watched it live as it was happening, it could have been the worst thing possible.
South Park.
Look, and South Park has evolved. Ross, when we were kids,
it was
South
on
Park
the
came
nose, dude.
Well, when we were kids and South Park came out, South Park was a show of kids who cussed and it was funny.
Yeah. But when I was an adult, when I was in my teens and like 20s and stuff, they were on it in my 20s.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is now they've gone from a funny show about kids who cuss and say funny things to tackling real world issues right on the nose and saying
COVID special,
saying what almost everybody is thinking but doesn't want to say.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great. And that's why that show is so much more than just an animated funny show. It's making fun of life.
And let me tell you the episode that really, really made me like, what the fuck is this? And it was the Oprah Winfrey show. And it was
that makes sense. Yeah.
It was Minji versus fucking whatever the asshole's name was. And it was like the two of them going at it. It was so ridiculous. I'm like, I don't know what I'm watching, but I understand what it's trying to represent.
They make sense. And you look at it and you're like, this is so stupid. And you're like, holy shit. All of this is actually happening in real life right now. And I think it's stupid when it's a cartoon, but it's real. So sorry. Sarah, you got any animated shows?
Oh, I'm just trying to think. It's like, God, it's definitely Beast Wars because that was
Mm.
something that I just absolutely loved.
It
Absolutely.
was a thing. It was such a big thing.
Thundercats.
Okay.
Even though it's an 80s cartoon,
Okay.
that is one thing. I love Thundercats. I used to run around the yard thinking I was Chitara. I mean, it was just, yeah, that was my jam. That was absolutely my jam. And I mean, I think I don't know if I have it on DVD or not, but it's like whenever I come across it, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it. I don't care how shitty it looks. I'm gonna watch it because I loved Thundercats. Apparently Puma has like the Lion-O shoes and Chitara shoes. I've seen those.
Really? Okay.
And I'm
I
like,
do believe they were out. Yes.
yes. And I'm like, but I don't know. We'll save that for another day. As far as the third one, I really loved the Batman animated series. That was really cool because I loved seeing Harley Quinn. I loved her.
Good call.
But also I've got to throw in, Clone Wars. That's something that
Oh,
go girl.
Deep cut.
I mean,
Hell yeah. Hell
yeah. But I really didn't. The animated stuff I watched is when I was younger. Like He-Man, Mask, freaking Smurfs, shit like that. That's what I watched. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I miss.
It was a crazy time when they started to work in puppets like Ferngully and stuff like that into what are they going to do for animated, because it's like, hey, we can do any of this in animated. It's how do you transition all of that? And so it's really crazy when you think about how it's almost like when movies went from like silent era to sound, and like now these moves happen so fast. And when something like Smurfs came out, it was like you can put anything that you want to into like 22 minutes and just keep taking it to town because you're never going to run out of ideas. Like it's you reinvent the wheel, but you're not reinventing the wheel.
Yeah. Let's see. Do y'all have friend shows? Because actually, Sarah, you sparked an interest in me just with the ones you talked about. And I was like, oh, I gotta say this, I gotta say this, gotta say this. So I'm gonna say some friend shows here. When you say Clone Wars, I've got to say Rebels.
I've watched that. It's kind of a toss up too. I mean, it's almost like it's any Star Wars animation.
Yeah. Well, that's so very recent in my life, but even so, it's one of the best animated series I've ever seen. I got to throw Arcane in there. Because if we're just talking about our entire lives, Arcane's got to be in there.
Yeah,
I've got to throw Superman the animated series.
Yeah,
we talk about Batman, but Superman the animated series is an amazing show. And you know what? I'll throw it out there. Darkwing Duck. I don't care. When I was in the Army and I had a guy who could give me like seasons of shit that was of anything I wanted. And I saw in the back of his trunk, and I saw that he had Darkwing Duck, the entire series, all of the seasons and everything. My daughter was like 4. I said, okay, she's about to get introduced to some real good shit. And let me tell you, she is the terror that flaps in the night.
How about Gargoyles?
Gargoyles is a good one. Yeah, there you go. Street Sharks.
I was just going to say it. I was going to hold off on it.
Yeah. Well, for that,
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, Ninja Turtles, the animated series. Yeah.
Look, let me tell you that the animated series Ninja Turtles was my childhood. Like it was the thing.
That one probably shaped me a lot.
If I were a kid, that would have been my Clone Wars. Like that would have been my thing. I think that what were we watching? And like Greg, you and I both said Kang, like. Or Krang, like is that who lives in the stomach?
In Grogu, we were watching the Mandalorian.
Yeah, Mandalorian
IG-11 suit. Yeah,
I thought the same exact thing. I'm like, here's Krang walking around in the freaking in a Grogu suit, like with the IG thing going on. Yeah, it was so funny because they grouped a bunch of those in the movies, and you're just like. But this was like that in Ghostbusters, and like that. Those were like the things that I loved watching growing up.
Yeah, Transformers.
Yep,
that's a good one. G.I. Joe.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yep. And they're about to come out with another Transformers animated movie. I think I mentioned it last week, but that new thing's coming out too. And so,
yeah, is it the same animated movie as the last two? Is it the third of the trilogy in the last two?
No.
Let's not hope they cut like the same scenes together for.
No.
Well, I know the first Transformers movie was just like one entire battle scene. The entire movie is just one huge
But
battle scene.
man, don't tell
It's
me your
good.
adrenaline wasn't peaked.
It's good, but the entire movie is just one huge battle scene. All right, so anything else animated? We've brought up a ton of great shows. I think we've kind of, let's put it this way: if we were on a desert island and we've gone through sitcoms and animated stuff, I think the three of us together, if we could share a DDR, would be just fine.
Yeah, I don't think we
Just
fight.
All right, well, we'll go to the last topic here. Then is action, I guess. And like, I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with action. I think maybe because I don't want to say the wrong thing. I'm trying to think of great action shows or action fantasy shows that I've seen. And
Action fantasy,
off the top
okay.
of my head,
Are we
the
including
first thing I
sci-fi
can
on
think
this
of,
too?
sci-fi.
You have to.
First thing I can think of is Game of Thrones. It's one of the most recent things I've watched, but my God, what a great show. From beginning to end, the entire thing, every part of the story, just absolutely amazing. I could watch it over and over and over again. Not only that, the books. I've gotten so much more knowledge about Game of Thrones than just what I've seen in House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones. I've read thousands of years before that and hundreds of years after that. So I'm so enthralled in this universe. That would be, for me, number one action fantasy series. That one right there. But I don't know about you.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I stand by it. The Expanse. It's not finished. I know you guys are tired of hearing me say it. I know that you are.
I have the book.
It's such a good show. And the rough thing is that it went through. There's a couple of teething problems. Teething is not the right word. There are a couple of problems along the way through production that weren't able to truly, like actor conflicts and. There's like a Me Too moment in there, and there's some other things that happened that really made them change a little bit of the story. Mm-hmm. But man, that series is so good. And I think it's so good because of how well it could truly relate to what reality would be like. I stand by. What is it? What's the name of it? God, what is it? No, hold on. Alter Carbon. I love the first season of Alter Carbon. It has multiple seasons, but the first season is such a good idea. I love it. Okay. I want to know what Foundation does because I really want to get behind Foundation. But my last one, if I had to choose it this very second, For All Mankind. For All Mankind was a really good show. It's an Apple TV show. It's if the Russians made it to the moon first, the seasons progress from there. But the way technology works and the way everything else is, it's a very good show. It's not action. It's more drama. Definitely sci-fi. Absolutely sci-fi.
Sarah, you got any?
Next Generation, Voyager, and DS9.
Okay. Just knock those three out of there, right?
Okay. But I'm trying to think if we're like looking at some other stuff.
Those are really good. No, but those are just really good choices because there's so much there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the best part about it is that there's so much there. You're not wrong. Like I would fight to definitely not say Next Generation. Like Next Generation should be there. Period. It's
that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's like because you could throw Picard in there, but Picard doesn't make sense if you haven't seen Next Generation.
Yeah.
Well,
it's what started. It's what started it all.
Generation.
But you don't have the.
I don't have the
it
full
doesn't
story.
hit the same with you when you haven't seen all the Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
TNG was a thing that trend it just kept going. When DS9 came out, everyone was like, "Give me that drip feed of TNG."
Just like I could listen to the theme of Voyager, and to me, it's just like angel singing. I mean, that's just like that kind of level of calm that just comes up. And just,
I hear you.
And there's so many sidebars that I don't want to say come off of that, but there's definitely shows that have spawned from there. Firefly, like I love Firefly, and I probably watched
Firefly so many times. I can't tell you how many times we have rewatched that.
Yeah,
and it really sucks that it was only one season and it wasn't even that many episodes, but it's so good.
And there's something about just it's the invention of how you bring in talk about like the Cantonese language, like they intermix
Mhm.
like English and Chinese language to a point to
It's
where you're like
it's literally a
that's
space
real.
western.
Like
It's literally a
yes,
space western.
very very much. Like if there's a if there was a picture in a dictionary next to Space
Hmm.
Western, it would be a scene from that show.
Okay.
I mean, it's because it's one of my favorite quotes is "You're beginning to damage my calm," and then aim to misbehave, when I'm gonna get Vera grenades, get the grenades. I mean, look, I had a cat named after Jane Cobb. My son's middle name, Adam, is basically from Adam Baldwin,
Nice.
Jane Cobb. If Claire was a boy, her name would have been Nathan.
There
Her
you
middle
go.
name, Persephone, not really came from the Greek, like the Greek mythology, but it actually was because there is a planet within that world that is called Persephone.
Yep.
Hey, all these actors are going to be at GalaxyCon, so y'all
And
pay attention. I
Simon,
know they're listening right now. Y'all pay attention. Number
my
one
black
fan
cat
right here.
Simon.
We're going to be at GalaxyCon, so give her free
So
access. Come check it out.
look,
Yeah.
look, at my wedding, we had our music, our seating music was from, I think, the Serenity soundtrack. And then, like I said, I
And
walked down the aisle
all
to
of this was
Star
Joss
Wars.
Whedon. All of it was Joss Whedon.
And that's what I'm saying.
Like,
And
that's
that point, I mean, I don't care if he's an asshole or not. Firefly was fantastic.
Yeah.
Never watched an episode.
You got to give it a shot, man.
I
think it's on Hulu.
Yeah, but you know what? I never watched. What was the show on CW that was the DC show with all the young superheroes that Superman never flew until like the last episode? You waited like the last episode of the 10 seasons for him to fly.
What's the name of the town? Smallville.
Smallville, yeah. Like I never watched that either.
Oh, I watched Smallville too.
And
I remember telling Tom Welling. I told Tom Welling this when I met him. I said, "You were kind of what brought us together because I was,
there you go.
That's how I knew I was about to get proposed to because Smallville went on that night. And I'm like, why you want to come to your house?
Yeah, you got a story. There you go. Well, look, we're leaving, and I'm doing this on purpose. We're leaving. We're only doing sitcoms, action sci-fi, and animated shows for this because this is going to be a great topic we can talk about later. It's fun to talk about this kind of stuff. But if we're going to talk about any more any more action stuff, I only listed one because I have a really hard time with this because there's not really. When I look at it, I try to think about shows that I've watched for multiple seasons that I've enjoyed for like more than 2 or 3 seasons, and there hasn't been a ton in my life, but I can name a few off. Arrow, I think deserves a little respect. Arrow built the CW verse. It had its downfalls kind of in the middle of like seasons 4, 3, 4, 5 or 4 and 5. Then to pick back up, Arrow's definitely up there for me. Me and my wife watched that, and that was one thing we fell in love with. And I can also say Flash too. It was something that we even though I fell off after like the 4th season, and I kind of pick on it now because it's a CW show and it's really gone super CW in the last few years. It was a show that me and my wife, in a difficult time in our marriage, at least, could relate to and watch together and have a good time with, and it was great. Falling Skies. Okay, I say this to so many people. This was a TNT original series. It was only 4 seasons, I think. But it was a great show. It was a end of world show. Aliens have attacked, and it's if aliens really attacked, this is probably what things would really be like type show. It's got Noah Wiley, who's a great actor. It's got Moon Goodblood, who's a great actress. It's got some really good actors and actresses in it. It's a really good story. It got cut short. I think it should have been at least a season or 2 more than it was, but it got cut short. And you can tell in the last season, they definitely changed the story and had to end it right away. So it kind of ends, it fumbles at the end, but the entire show is a really, really good series and just fun to watch. And then in the same, I did watch the 100. That's a good one. Yeah. That's a CW show, right? That's a good one. But in the same manner with TNT shows, at the same time, Falling Skies was out, a show called Last Ship was out. Which is a show.
There was another one that was right there with the Last Ship. It wasn't called that. I'll have to look it up, but
yeah,
absolutely. That era when they came out with those pandemic style things, Last Ship was really good.
Oddly, a few years before a pandemic hit the world.
It's
crazy, isn't it? crazy.
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
If you were following politics, like this stuff wasn't like it didn't just come out of the blue. Like these things have been forecasted. Back in 2014 was one of the biggest years where we were like, "Hey, this is only a matter of time before this is going to happen. Get your shit together."
Ross, you
We said
recommended it
that.
to me best. Read bills, and then after you read a bill, go look at what people report on this bill, and then you will truly see what people are telling you because the bill is there. You can
Mhm.
read it and interpret it yourself, and then you hear what people say about it.
And
Then
it's
you
all
know who
public
to
knowledge.
trust. Exactly.
Yeah.
You taught me that, Ross, and you're exactly right. That's what you need to do. Read bills, folks. This
It's
country is run
boring.
by us,
Like
not by
it's
the government.
boring work. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like it's not fun, but at the same time, like it's all public knowledge, and like we're given all these ideas. And,
Mhm.
we're not far off from sci-fi and like these types of things. Another
No,
show
we're
that I
not.
absolutely love to bring it back to that Revolution when the world lost power. There was 2 seasons. It had Giancarlo Esposito. It had so many actors in it, and you're just like, it was a good show because the premise, and it was because it felt like it could happen,
Right.
and it felt to me like it could happen because we're not very far. There's 2 things that you could totally make money off of right now if you were to absolutely invest, and it's really batteries and desalination. Like those 2 things are massive. If we are able to fix, if we're able to to revolutionize that technology, like we will forever live because we will just keep going on. And I love shows in sci-fi that just bring up those types of ideas. I love it. I love the idea of like space travel and like future venture and everything else too, but really like when it hits home to like where you're at currently in your life, that's what makes a difference. That's why I'm not going to say it. That's why I love a show that I keep talking about because it feels like it could happen. And when shows
Don't
feel
say
like they could
Expanse again.
happen,
Yeah.
those are things to me that I'm like we could be there. And like when we're there, like it's going to make me very sad living in this time instead of that time.
Well, isn't that why shows like Walking Dead and Last of Us and everything kind of connect with people more?
Yeah,
Because like
absolutely.
you don't necessarily know what, and you know what? I can even say this: Sweet Tooth.
Yeah.
That was my connection with Sweet Tooth. Was this could be a reality?
Mhm.
Like, there's no reason to believe that something like this couldn't happen in the future, and this could be real. And this is exactly the way I think. Well, I can't say exactly, but I could see things playing out like this.
Yeah.
And you
And
connect
it's
with
such a
shows like
good
that.
show to watch
Yeah.
with kids because
Yeah.
it teaches them,
Mhm.
like it goes back to the whole moral code of things. Like, if shit were about to pop off and things went sideways, where would you fall? And like,
Right.
why would you fall on that side? And like, let's really talk. Like, are you the person that will not accept change? You're going to try to be the person that understands change. Because if you don't understand change, then you're just going to fall behind.
Yeah.
Really is the absolute.
I know if shit hits the fan, I can grow my own food, herd my own animals, and take care of my family. So I protect my family. So I ain't worried about it. But yeah, everybody else
You
do
can
what you want to do.
protect, but
Everybody else do what you want to do.
you saw
I can
the things that you were
self-sustain.
talking
Yeah.
about in Sweet Tooth. So
That's right. I can self-sustain. But Sarah, did you have any other shows action-wise that we haven't mentioned you want to talk about?
A lot of stuff, not really action, is more like dramas. Like I remember one Brian I used to watch years ago called Rescue Me. That was on FX. It had Dennis Leary.
oh yeah,
Okay.
That was a real good
yeah.
show.
Mhm.
God, I'm trying to think what else. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with like these type of shows. It has to be something that lasts more than a season or two, and it has to be something that resonates with you. So there's not a ton of shows out there like that. I could say honestly, putting it out there right now, Doom Patrol is one I could say, and Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy not inspired me, but was one of the inspirations to start the show. It was one of the first things we covered opening up the show, and I absolutely love the story. So I could say Umbrella Academy falls in that category of fantasy action type show, and I would put that up there. Like I love Umbrella Academy. I will probably go back and rewatch that entire series when it's all said and done more than one time.
yeah. I think that that's a damn good example of something that was really fresh at the time that it came out.
Mhm.
And Umbrella Academy did have like a basis to start from, but Umbrella Academy was new and inventive on the screen, and I was it sucked you in because of the soundtrack, the action, the way that they were able to correlate the actors who played those characters into the story that they created for those characters. Loved it. And to me, it hasn't felt like a show that has fallen off each season. You know, there's a thing that it's always hard to recreate lightning in a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you do when you have that to begin with? I think to me that's kind of why Guardians 3 felt a little off, because Guardians 1 was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Guardians 2 worked for me, and the more that I watch that movie, the more it works for me. Absolutely nonstop.
Stop trying to
The more
convince
that I
me.
watch it, the more that it
Stop
works.
trying to convince me.
I'm not. Guardians 3, when I went to go watch it, and I one of my first thoughts was full gun, because it was like, you know, no holds barred. But it's also like, why stop the idea of fantasy? Like, where do you draw the line, and why would you even bother drawing a line? So when I talk about things like Umbrella Academy, and I'm like, why draw a line? I don't know anything about this. Like, I don't know anything about Guardians. Like, really, at the end of the day, like, all of that comic book stuff, don't know anything about it. Umbrella Academy just felt easier to go along with.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so good on screen. Like, they were just able to like suck in all the best parts of it. And so I was a massive fan of it.
Well, and if I'm going to put Umbrella Academy on there, I got to go with another one we started the show with, which is another great action fantasy show that we're still watching right now that I cannot wait for the next season to come out, is The Boys. You got to put that out there too. Like, I'm just thinking of Fringe shows or so. Once again, we did this kind of on the spot, so I haven't had time to think about it, but The Boys has got to be up there.
You're right. Yeah. I'll tell you.
I got a love-hate relationship with that.
Yeah, well, the only thing that I dislike about what they're doing is that the timeline is so condensed, but the seasons take forever to come out. And so the story is only like this, like where my camera is, like this big, but like the seasons take like this big to come out. And so, like, you know, it definitely seems like they're trying to condense that whole story into a very tight timeline. I don't know. I'm hoping they do something like really well that they just haven't been able to. I don't know. Like, the problem is that that's like an X-Men story. It could go on forever.
Good.
You know, if you really wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. Well, as long as the main character, what's his name, Anthony, whatever his name is, doesn't keep getting in trouble. They go on for a long time, but he's got to stay out of trouble. So he's got to stop doing the Ezra Miller thing. But yeah, I mean, once again, we'll come back to all this stuff. You know, we just covered sitcoms, action, and animated stuff off the cuff. This is to cover an hour, and guess what? We've been talking for an hour about bullshit. It's been good stuff. It's been good
I wasn't
stuff.
even reading comments. We got comments going on.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Do we have comments? Oh, we have one.
Speaking of Guardians 3.
Here we go. So, coming home from watching Guardians 3, this is Kev. James Gunn made me tear up a raccoon. I'm 100% okay with him running DC. Okay. As a person who has not seen Guardians 3, but loved 1, hated 2, and have looked at the reviews of 3, I trust people like Kev, like Ross, like Sarah, who say it was a good job, and I'm excited for the future of DC based on what the people that I trust say. Or is Ross not in that camp?
Guardians 3 was a good movie.
So does it excite you for James Gunn running the DC? That's the question at hand.
Okay. All right. Imagine yourself, you're a teacher, and some kid keeps turning in papers to you, right? And like, you've read maybe like 6 of them.
This is
you're like,
no.
You're all over the place, kiddo. Like, I don't know what you're writing about, but like you seem to delve into each of these different papers. I get that from him. When I saw Suicide Squad, I was like, I understand what you're trying to do, but the way that you're going about it makes me feel a little weird.
Okay.
When I saw Guardians 1, I'm like, fucking goal. Like, you're in there, like you won. And that's exactly like I was just describing. Guardians 2, the more I watched it, the more I was with it. Guardians 3 was an action-packed movie. It was nonstop. I really felt like it was nonstop.
Yeah,
There's
and
so
it
much that
fits
was
you
going
right in
on.
the damn feels too, man.
Yeah,
Jesus.
every single time you felt like you needed a break, it was like, here's your break. Fuck your heart. Like, I'm going to kick you like all over the place, right? And it's not that I didn't have any, I don't have major problems with Guardians 3 at all. Let me put it that way. But I'm definitely trying to understand how this guy is going to tie a full universe together. And it's not that I don't have faith, it's that I don't understand, because like his brain and my brain don't work in the same manner.
No.
And I can appreciate the differences, and I can appreciate the fact that I don't know what he's thinking. I'm fine with learning it. I just don't know what he's planning on.
Okay. Do you think that the Flash movie, maybe it'll shed more light? Like, if you come out of the Flash movie and you
No.
feel the same way, how confident are
No.
you with the future of DC?
This was all prior to him. I feel like if there's anything, this is a chance for them to hit the, like, you remember being a kid? You remember playing on like Nintendo consoles before you could save shit, before they
Right.
had like memory packs?
Yeah.
If someone hit the reset button and you were done and you
Over.
had to go
Yeah.
all the way back from the beginning,
Okay.
that's what this movie is for me. This movie
Okay.
has nothing to do with what's going forward. Absolutely nothing. If you want
Okay.
my personal opinion, there is no DC universe in this movie other than this is a chance for them to like hit that reset button.
So with you saying that, based on the fact that there's so many DC characters from previous genres, with Michael Keaton, with Ben Affleck, with everything else they're showing, does that mean that the Flash movie is the definitive switch point for you? Like, it has to turn me into a new universe and give me a direction. Like, let me put it this way. What would make the Flash movie fail for you? What would make you come out of that thinking that you're not confident where the DC is going?
That they try to carry on something from it.
Okay,
Like,
so that they try to
like,
continue
you
the
know,
Snyderverse. You want it
yeah.
into the Snyderverse, which I love it, but I'm okay with that because
No, there has to be a clean
I
cut.
kinda do
If there's
too. I
no
want it to be
clean
done.
cut, then
Yeah.
this doesn't work.
Okay.
Like, because if we're going to go into this next show, we might as well just go ahead and do it right now.
Well, no, I want to ask Sarah too. I want to ask Sarah, like what for you? Because I know neither one of you want to watch the Flash trailer, but you did.
But my thing is that with the Berlanti verse and with the the Snyderverse and with all these different things, there are so many different levels of like what's going on, and Titans showed it, and they're going to continue it apparently with the end of the next series that we're going to watch. I just don't. There are no lanes of traffic. As much as they try to divide what's happening with what can make sense in the human mind, to me, there's no clear lanes of traffic. Okay. There's no, Earth 9, Earth this, Earth that, blah, 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 blah. They need to create very, very, very definitive lines and keep it very small to start off with. If they want to expand, they can expand from there, but they can't do it all in the beginning because it's just going to confuse people.
Don't go too fast, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Kind of what I feel like they might have done to begin with. So, Sarah, let me ask you then. What do you need from the Flash movie to be confident in James Gunn's DC? Like, do you need a complete break?
I think so.
All the characters we have? Okay.
I think so. I think it's just, like I said, I mean, I hope it is like, Flashpoint. I hope it is like a reset button. Because I feel like it's the only way it's going to make sense. I mean, you have to have a clean break in order to move forward. It's
a good way to do it, right? Yeah. Like it seems very like, oh, we're just gonna use Flashpoint and reset things. But quite honestly, when you look at the story, it feels like a good way to go ahead and to go ahead and hit the button. All right.
And I kind of got that from bits and pieces of Titans. And like, here's the thing, like I wasn't real massive on the crossover events that they had on CWverse, the all those different shows. Like I watched them, but I watched them only because they were like a thing in themselves.
The musical was pretty cool. Come on now, it was pretty cool. I love a good musical.
If you try to go back and make sense of it all, Like it's tough. And so what I think that I want from Flash is I want them to be like, I want them to shut that shit down and be like, we need to understand what's happening in one universe first, and then how we can like expand off of that.
Okay.
Because I felt like
Well,
Titans did a good job of trying to make that make sense, but they didn't have enough time and enough money to really like root themselves into that idea.
okay. Well, and to be fair, like, well, not even to be fair, just another question to ask. You know, Ross, you sent us in our group chat the other day that picture of the Flash ring, and it had the CW logo on it. I was like, oh shit, are they finally introducing the ring in the show? And you said, yeah, which I'm not keeping up with the show. Just, you know, full vulnerability. I'm not keeping up with the show. So, like, if they're
That was a promise ring joke. That had nothing to do with this.
well, no, but that's what I want to ask you. Like, I don't even know. Have they introduced the ring in the show? Are they?
They
doing
have,
is it,
yeah.
That is okay.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause I don't know where the show's
suit
going.
comes out of it and everything.
Okay. Well, the show's got to be coming to a conclusion, right? Because they're
they're yeah.
Okay. So I'm wondering how they tie this into what they have going into the future.
And that's what I'm saying is that's what I need to understand. Like, if they're going to go multiverse and like, you know, multiple Earths, multiple everything, there needs to be a very clear division, because what they've given us so far is like, no, that's not the same world that this exists in. You know, like,
But they're still going to have the Joker movies and everything else. So it's like, what the fuck's the point?
And that's why they're
the Batman movies.
I'm with you.
Universes.
I'm with you, but
crazy.
they've explained that in a level that I'm okay with. Okay.
Okay. So let me ask you.
It's not a part of the thing that you're used to. It's almost like Batman '89 still exists, right?
Right.
But
okay. So let me make sure I'm clear on this. So you're cool with them having this main universe of telling movies out of, okay? But they also have the Snyderverse, they have the Berlantiverse, they have the Michael Keaton Batman era, they have the Batman Matt Reeves universe, and they have the Joker universe. And you're cool with all these others being looped into here, but the Batman and the Joker universe, you're okay with them being totally separate and having nothing to do with anything else and being locked in. I'm making sure I'm understanding. Okay.
You're not understanding, because what I'm talking about is that
I may not be. I'm not very
come
smart.
out if you come out and tell me right off the bat that this is not a part of it and this is not a part of it.
Okay.
As
long as they establish
Batman. If they say that right off the bat, I'm like, okay, cool. I won't try to make those. You know, I won't try to tie that shoe. Right?
That's
those shoestrings don't match. Got it. I won't try to do it. But if you are trying to produce these things and say, hey, here's all of this stuff, make sense of it what you will, I'm like, but it doesn't make sense.
So what you're saying is, if the Flash is going through the Speed Force and he sees Pat Bat, it's done. Like, no.
You fucked up.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm cool with that. No, you've established boundaries, and yes, I get that. I'm cool with that. I just wanted to know what they were, and honestly, I kind of feel like I'm kind of the same way, even though I don't necessarily like care for like having the Joker universe or the Sparkle Bat universe, because I'm not a huge fan of Sparkle Bat universe. I think they're going to have a good movie coming up next, but like, I've still never gone back and watched that movie all the way through, and it's not like something I'm like, I've got to go see that movie again.
These things should have come out in between the Snyderverse and what we're about to get with the Gunnverse. I guess I'm going to
Well, then they would have had to have mixed them in, right?
Bro,
if they came out in between it, they would have had to have mixed them in. There's no way you have two Batmans out at the same time and don't mix them in.
No, not at the same time. You hit that moment. No, it's like when you got Batfleck.
You got Batfleck. In this next movie, you're going to have Batfleck. You're going to have Michael Keaton's Batman. That's why
the Flash is complicated. That's why it's complicated, because you got so much going on at one time.
And I'm sure there's shit we don't know that's going to happen in this movie. Yeah, I am sure there is something they are saving that is going to happen in this movie that we don't know about.
I hope so.
Quite honestly, if there's not, I'm going to be pretty fucking pissed. That's all I got to say. I'm going to be pretty pissed. Because I know that I went to the Black Adam movie, and I got surprised. I know that you guys told me about the what was the movie where Wonder Woman was at the end? The Shazam movie. Mm-hmm. That was a surprise. I know that at the last movie, the Marvel movie with John Krasinski as Captain Marvel and Xavier and everybody else, that was a surprise. So like, they can surprise us with stuff. There better be some surprises, something I didn't see coming in this movie, or I'm gonna be a little pissed off about what we're seeing.
Flipping
That's what I'm
chairs.
saying, man.
Yeah, it's got to be something. But yeah, I mean, we don't have long for the Flash. It's coming out soon. We don't have much coming. Actually, no, we kind of do. We got the Flash.
We got like a month and a half because it comes out end of June. Mid June. We got like a month. I think it comes out like the 16th.
Kev says the Flash runs so fast that he face changes and we get a new Flash actor as the Flash. That might be true, Kev, but the thing is, the big problem with the Flash in CW is he can just never be fast enough. So if you set the parameter as you've got to run fast enough to change your face, he'll never reach that goal until the finale. And then somehow he'll find the strength and he'll get that fast. So, all right. So we only have one show to talk about tonight. We bullshitted for like 110 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes, about some really good stuff. And actually, it was a fun conversation about some really fun stuff. That's why it's so fun to podcast with friends, because you can really just bullshit for a couple hours and it's fun talk.
Script. Who needs a script? Who needs
Exactly.
notes?
We'll do it live.
Shit on it.
We'll do it live.
Wing it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like Ross stepped away for a minute, but we can go ahead and start. He tried to segue into this Titans earlier, and we're going to give an overall review of the series and season finale of season 3 and the entire series, and then we'll just kind of talk about the overall series, like how disappointed, how disappointed we were, or how happy we were with the entire season or the entire
Greg already
series.
said his hand.
Yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and start. I think if you watch the show, you know my opinions. Like, I like this show, but it's like, do I like this show? The finale was crap. Changed my mind. I think the finale was crap. I think that Brother Blood was a dumb villain. I think that his suit looked terrible. I think they didn't take enough time explaining him. They fumbled this. It feels like they were told that they had this much time to tell a story and that they got cut short. I didn't like the way things ended. Well, okay, I can't say that. I like the way things ended with Corey and Dick, because that's what I wanted to see the whole time. And, I like that. But the finale just didn't do it for me. I had a hard time kind of keeping my attention on the show. I continue to find myself wanting to do other things as the show was going on. I was like, no, I gotta pay attention to what's going on. And even then, I still really didn't that much. It just didn't do it for me. And this is an indictment on the entire Titans series for me, because they have fumbled every finale they've had in every season. They've had some really high points in Titans, but they've had a lot of really low points. And I want to hear y'all's thoughts on the third episode, or the final episode of season 3. Then we'll go over the whole thing. But for me, I just wasn't impressed.
Can I add
didn't like
something
it very
before we
much.
get to that?
Yeah, do it.
Because last week I had not seen the penultimate.
So you watched them together.
No,
which could
I
almost
didn't.
be watched
I
like one episode.
watched the penultimate. I think maybe a couple days afterwards.
Okay.
So I didn't watch them back to back because I was like, I got to see this. Did you not see my messages? That was some bullshit. Told you I didn't like that. I don't like this Tim Drake. I don't like this guy. I don't like this character. Period. And now I don't give a shit if he's got a suit or not. That dude did not deserve that suit.
Yeah, I agree. All in all, I was not a fan of the character as much. It's not the actor. It's not the gay. It's not the minority.
It's just the whole premise.
I don't care about that. The character was rushed.
It just seems like it just.
Listen, they shoehorned him in.
Yeah.
And Sarah, you mentioned it in the chat, and I'm not going to go into insane detail about this, but you mentioned in the chat, and you were like, "What was the reason for doing this?" There was a reason. They checked a box.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go any deeper than that. They checked a box. Okay. They did not need to do this with this character. You could have easily eased him in and never had him do anything as Robin, just be Tim Drake, and had Red Hood in there as the same guy doing the exact same things he was doing, which you've already established. There is no need to rewrite a character that is established for years to check a box.
Well, it was just too fast anyways, because it was almost like, all right, we're just going to give this to him because, we'll make you part of the team.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you're not there yet. You
don't give the character that respect.
Yeah, you are not there yet. I just don't feel like he deserved it, honestly. I mean, I'm like, and then what, Dick's going to send him to Gotham to look for somebody and then end up training with, Red Hood.
Jason Todd for one day.
Yeah, so I'm like, what do you think? Just like one time? Oh,
now I know. Yeah.
that just
They could have gone
absolutely
this.
didn't make any sense.
They could have gone this whole season and just given him like the staff at the end. You know, like here's your beginnings. But I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to like dodge and weave the fact that they negated Batman really from this series as a main character, even though they gave us a version of Batman, and they wanted to tie in a version of Robin, and it's like, why is that even necessary? Like, all that you need to do is just you can allude to the next Robin without giving us the next Robin. You can do better than like, what was the guy's name that did the Dark Knight trilogy? Christopher Nolan. You can give us a much better Nolan, ending for Robin for Robin version 3.
Yeah.
And give him like the staff at the end of this whole entire thing, or really make him like the detective version of Robin and let him lead up to that. But like, you're right, it felt rushed because the writing was horrible for him.
It was like he was like this fanboy, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, since you're such a fanboy, we'll just kind of
no training whatsoever. Yeah,
fighting just doesn't come to you. Like, that's the roughest part.
No.
It's like it's not. It's either you have it or you don't. And either you have it because like it's been there, or you have mystically figured it out. Yes, yes.
And it was just, I had a problem with that. I had a big problem with that. But like I think I just had a problem with this iteration of Tim Drake from the beginning because, like I said, I've always just felt like he was just a fanboy. Like, I've always followed.
I like the actor, but I hated what they gave him.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it's just, and I'm looking at it just character-wise. It's just, I never liked that character. I just didn't like what they did with him.
That really goes to, for me, largely on most of every single one of these Titans.
Like, what the hell did they do with Raven?
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I can't. Well, before we get on Raven, though, I do want to say the biggest problem they had with Tim Drake was Tim Drake is a big Robin story in this Batman thing, and you can't have somebody dub Robin if it's not Batman.
True.
Like, you just can't do it. And they've already killed off Batman in this universe, and it's like, well, from there is no more Robin. Like, I'm sorry, Dick Grayson is not Batman, and whoever he dubs to be Robin is not Robin. Like, it has to be, and I get it, creative differences, the story to make it work, they had to make it work, but this character was rushed. I like the actor. I don't have a problem with any of the acting choices they made with the character, but
his storyline,
I feel like it was disrespect for the character because he did not get the story he deserved. Because you could have told a great story of Tim Drake. Tim Drake's one of my favorite Robins. He is in my favorite all-time DC comic, The Identity Crisis. Like that is the comic where his father gets killed.
Does this really feel like Tim Drake?
So it doesn't. That's my problem. It does not feel like Tim Drake.
Yes. So it's just it's just a character that you're just calling Tim Drake, Tim Drake, and it's like, I don't. I'm not saying everything has to be comic book accurate, but damn, at least get near it.
Yeah, I agree.
There were a lot of trouble choices in this show from the beginning, and we can complain all that we want to about how the finales fell flat and how they started off with what should have been the finale of the last season. The writing is the problem for this, and what I kind of almost like fell on the floor laughing about was that when they brought out an article saying like Titans has like finally found its footing, and they're trying to do this, and that was like in season 3 at some point where they were really talking about it, and I'm like, it's not that they were failing or flailing. They just were suffering from like a real identity crisis of what they thought these characters were. Because you can talk all day about Teen Titans, you can talk all day about like, the different iterations of the Titans and like who they were, what they brought in. I stand by it. Like, there's no better way for you to bring in characters like Dove and Hawk as uncorny, non-corny, or like unappreciative as you could have than what they really brought to screen. But then when you start talking about the super characters, like the people that have these powers, and you're like, those are the ones that they faltered on. Like, how do you screw up what you have with? We'll talk about Superboy eventually, but
Mhm.
you know, we've given enough time to Beast Boy and like complaining about it, and you want to talk about this finale was like, finally,
let's do
you're
it.
giving me the version of Beast Boy that I want to see, the one that can like just do shit like on personal call. You
Mhm.
know, he's not
Didn't say it.
green, he's not doing all this other stuff, and I'm like, that's what I was so happy about. I'm like, where did this come from? I
And then what
watched
happens
this
in the end?
finale.
Eh.
Yeah, I watched this finale in a very low def TV, and like I was outside in the sun, and like there were so many dark moments in this episode. I just didn't care. I'm like, all I want to do is I want to work out, watch this, be done with it, because I don't really want to watch Titans. I got other things I'd much rather watch, but I got to finish this show.
Oh,
And I
I
even
make
said
you.
it.
That's right. I
I'm
make you.
like, I just need to be done with it.
Well, look, here's the thing, and this is, and we'll bounce all over the place with this episode. Like, first, I want to comment on White Chocolate Espresso's comments right here. Do we need a Robin? And I replied, yes, we definitely need a Robin because Robin's a badass character. What we need is a Damian Wayne, which I hope that's the direction they're going in the future, and a badass Nightwing and a badass Red Hood. We got 2 of the 3 in the Titans. We got a badass Nightwing, a badass Red Hood, and Titans. We didn't get a Damian Wayne because it didn't go that far because they've already got
We got good
Batman. So
versions.
you can't have a son
I
of
feel
me
like
dead. But
I feel like they'd be done if they're even better, but we got good versions of them. I
we got
will
good
give
versions
you
of
that.
them. They could redo them, and I'd be okay with that. But I like the versions of Red Hood and Nightwing we got in this series. And then I forgot my second point. Ross, you have to bring up what you were talking about right there because it was on whatever you were talking about.
Beast Boy
Oh,
or
yes, Beast Boy. I got it. How about the fact that that we waited the entire series to see him transform some cool shit, and then like 2 episodes ago or an episode ago, he finally does, and then they get into this big finale fight, and he fights his Beast Boy and doesn't transform
I
into
know.
anything. The final
He
fight
could
of
have
the
pulled out
entire
those black
series,
pipes as an
of the
ape.
entire
He,
series,
know?
he
and he
turned
does
into a
not
tiger.
transform into anything. Did
He
he?
turned into a tiger. Yeah.
I
He
didn't see
did
him
turn. He
into a
turned
tiger.
into a tiger. He
Uh-huh.
did.
Did he? Okay, the one we've seen 1,000 times. Cool.
But there were so
I don't
many.
think I like that green
No,
tiger.
he wasn't green. It wasn't a green tiger.
Yeah.
There were so many
Okay.
more
I
moments
must have
where he
missed
could
that.
have
Yeah.
been. You know, that's what I'm saying. Like when they were talking about pulling out like the navigation pipelines or whatever, he could have been an ape and just like yanking that shit out, or like whatever the strongest animal you
I
could think
thought the
of,
same thing
or
too.
just be a fucking well and land on it. Like, what does it take? Like how much does it take? You know, and so I was definitely in the mindset of like he was underusing the finale just like normal. There's been multiple times where they gave us an advancement in Gar, but then in the finale they renege on what they were like, what they had going on, and you're like, why are you doing that? Like, why are you backtracking after you are showing progress? And that's a Titans thing, and that's a poor Titans thing.
All right. Well, let's talk about Sarah. You mentioned a minute ago. Get us started on this with Raven. Like, did she even need to be in this entire season?
Dude, I don't even know what was going on with this girl. The only thing I can think of is the whole Trigon thing. It's just is that the reason, or it's just because Raven's a part of the Titans? I don't know. I mean, she just didn't make sense. I'm like, number one, I'm still trying to figure out how in the hell she turned white, but I guess it's because Mother Mayhem or whatever the hell her name was sucked whatever out of her, and I'm like, even my son's just like, who was that? I said, it's Raven. He's like, she's supposed to be like dark. I'm like, I know, dude. I don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
Because she lost her stone for a minute, and next thing you know, she got it. I don't know.
She regrew her virginity. That's what it was.
I mean, she's like, what's this, Raven the White? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, she regrew her
virginity.
virginity.
And just walking around. What is she wearing? A fucking wedding dress?
No, I get it.
Walking around, she's got like this billowing cape. I'm like, don't you at least float around or some shit? I don't know. I'm finally glad to see her use her powers. I'm like, I guess you got that shit back. I don't know. It was just.
Yeah, no, I totally get it, and we're gonna get into it. We'll break down all the characters here, but because there's definitely points I want to bring about the other ones. But yeah, with Raven, it was like for the entire season, I didn't really know what her purpose was. And it seemed like she was just simply there to be the brother of Sebastian. And it's like, well, okay. Beyond that, I can't
She
really
was the
think
confused teenager.
I can't really think of anything she does except
Yeah.
join a
You're
college
just
at the
supposed
end
to
of
be
the
a normal
season.
kid.
You know? Yeah.
You're
It's like,
freaking half
well,
dead.
okay.
How can you be a normal kid? You're walking
Mhm.
around. I mean, okay.
Like, so okay, we'll go to the characters. What y'all think about Trigon this season as
Oh,
opposed to
that
the
was
first
some
season?
bullshit. That was some bullshit, just
Like,
like the first season.
how they tried to do a better job, and I guess
I
he
was waiting to
looked
hear
better.
that from you.
Yeah, he
I've
looked
been
better, I
waiting to hear
guess.
Sarah say that.
Yeah, but
I
at the
mean,
same
it's
time,
like you're
like,
supposed to be this big baddie, coming down and just raking all this havoc and whatnot, and you got taken out like a bitch. You
bitch
got
slapped.
cut
Yes.
down like an
Yes.
orc. I mean, what
Yes.
is going on here?
You've existed for one moment, and then your son killed you. It's like,
Yeah,
wait a
I
second.
hated
And I
that.
didn't think you could
Is
kill
this
him.
like how the Bible works in reverse? Like, I'm confused at what's going on right here, right now.
Wasn't he supposed to be like some like
All powerful being or something like
yeah?
that.
Because
Yeah,
I was
But
he was
but I guess a steel blade will get him.
he went
Hold
down
on.
like
You know,
he went
guess
down
the
like a
steel blade
bitch
will
the
get
first
him.
season, went like down like a bitch in this season. So I'm like,
I'm gonna veer a little bit off of characters because I want to talk about this episode. Started off with a recap from like the last episode especially, but bits and pieces of other episodes, and it was when he blew the horn. Brother Blood blew the horn.
Yeah.
Sebastian blew the horn, and Trigon was coming up, and you see the Titans once again. Like, they pick and choose when they want to wear their suits and when they don't want to wear their suits. But there's no sense of urgency in getting to the place that they need to get to. And then like this episode picks up on they're trying to get into the area, and the password's all different. They don't know what's going on. Like, what is happening? Like where this is where I have a problem with the writing. There is no cohesiveness with what's going on in the moment. And the moment is, if they would just release Trigon, there should be all out fucking panic with the Titans and how they're going to get in and what they're going to do. And there should be like, we'll do anything at all costs. Like I see more detrimental moment drama in like Fast and Furious movies than I do in like Titans. And I'm like, they're not battling superhero, super realm, super era, super whatever things. And when I say Fast and Furious, I mean the trailers, not even the movies, because I haven't seen a movie since like 5. I don't know.
5 or 6. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something good. After
well, then you got Raven.
what's
She's
his name
like
died.
head morphing into this, and she's just like,
Yes.
oh, and she's just like looking at him like, oh hi, and he's like, hey daughter, I've been thinking. She's like,
Yeah, I've been thinking
was
about you
true.
like
I've
in
been
like a
thinking
redneck
about
kind of
you.
way
It's like,
because
ooh,
that's
bird.
creepy.
Yeah,
And
like,
so
what
just
have you been
looking at
thinking
it
about?
like,
What?
okay, you just been resurrected or whatnot, and then we'll talk
Look
about
at all
Brother
these
Blood
abs
in a
and
minute.
these 4 eyes. Like, I've been doing all sorts of things in hell.
Yeah,
I'm like, what is
we'll talk
happening
about Brother
right
Blood
here?
in a minute, but it's just kind of like, oh, he's lying to you. He's not going to do it. And then I'm like, and then she sees him go up and stab. Oh my God! Like cuts him down, and then she sees Connor, and it's like, oh, now we're gonna jump. This is like the first time we've really seen Raven do anything other than try to be somebody's like,
surrogate body
therapist or something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what's going on here.
Did you say breakfast?
He's a therapist.
Let's say
Oh,
somebody's therapist.
Okay.
It's always trying to talk somebody off the ledge, it's like, oh, Gar, blah, 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 or oh,
Well,
yeah,
she's trying to get on that animal D.
Well, let's talk about Brother Blood. Okay, so I got to say right off the bat, Titans has done a phenomenal job with costumes. They really
I
have.
knew you were gonna go there.
Like, all of them look so good. Brother Blood looked like shit.
you
That
can see the band on
costume
his mask.
looked
I was like, where does
terrible.
that even
The
come
mask is the problem.
The mask, the suit looked horrible
100%.
too.
It
Like,
even
everything
has
about it
that.
was horrible. I was like, my God, what are y'all doing? You've done so good. Hawk and Dove and Red Hood and Deathstroke and everybody you put out there, Robin and Nightwing, everything. Even the Robin we don't particularly like, Tim Drake's Robin, the suit was badass.
Yeah.
Suit was pretty
But
cool.
Bloodstroke looked fucking
Bloodstroke.
CW. Like, I was like, come on, man. Like, you're gonna finish with that? For real?
Well,
Oh.
okay. What was your overall thought of Sebastian / Brother Blood as a villain? Period.
Oh God! Number one, anyone can be a villain with enough eyeliner. Like let's be dead honest about that, because there are later on moments in this episode where they gave him fucking eyeliner when he went like pure evil, and I'm like, do we have to keep doing this, people? Like, visually, like, I get that he's bad, but like, he was bad to begin with. Come on. And so when he donned the fucking eyeliner, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess now he's like 100% evil. But the mask was the worst part. The thing that I don't understand about Brother Blood is, like, with a name like Brother Blood, in the Trigon moment, he rips out Trigon's heart, or technically he cuts it out. I'm like, first off, those aren't fine cuts from a brand new sharp knife, because that heart definitely has like rounded edges around the aorta and
ventricles and
yeah,
whatnot.
like I'm like, that doesn't work.
Like just like clean cuts.
You're trying to screw me up, and so it wasn't even that. It was just like the moments where you're like, how does he interface with technology? Like,
Yeah.
none of this is making sense. Like, I'm a real big person when it comes to anything like tech and anything like any of that crap. I'm like, none of this makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I can truly buy into ones and zeros and like human matter if it's done right. This was done absolutely wrong. And all of that completely threw me off to a point I'm like, I don't even want to fucking watch this. Like, what is happening on screen, and why do I want to be a part of it?
No, I agree. It's like the finale came to an end, and it was like the technology he's been working on magically can open a wormhole to
Well, that wasn't
wherever.
even his, but the fact that he could interface with that
Right, the fact
technology.
he just immediately interfaced with it and it worked exactly how I wanted to. And it's like, we haven't heard about this the entire season about him wanting to do this. And now all of a sudden, this is the thing that's going to end the world. Like, so what was the plan? Like, that was another thing. What was the plan? He was going to hurl the Earth into Tamaran. Is that the name of the
No,
planet?
he was going to go to Tamarin and like finish it. He was going to go be Brother Blood on Tamarin.
Okay.
This is what I was led to believe.
Like, it's just like there was no build up to what the ending was going to be, because like even by the end of the last episode, we didn't know really who the main villain was, and we didn't know what the objective was they're trying to stop.
And
Like,
like
it
I
all
said, it was
happened in this
another
episode
big
and it
build up
changed.
for Trigon, and it fell flat.
Yeah, they cut off Connor, and it was like, and okay, so we'll just go into it. They cut off Connor the whole episode, right? Then all of a sudden, Connor comes back at the end, and he's the answer. Bam, eye laser's done. I'm like, really? Like, that's really fucking weak.
And
Really,
how do
really
you
weak.
just regenerate Connor like out of nowhere? I'm sitting there thinking like maybe that was the what was the hotel thing that he called and said that he needed to make a top of the mark hotel thing. I'm like, is he gonna put Connor up there so he can regenerate in the sun? Like, I'm confused. Like, is that what's gonna happen? Because that's where I was led to believe. Like I need the top floor or blah 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 blah. I'm like, that makes sense. But then he said 7 p.m. I'm like, the fucking sun doesn't shine at 7 p.m. except in a few
I was
places.
thinking a
and
funeral.
For like a little bit.
It goes down
I
like
was
8:15
thinking some
where
kind
I'm
of
at.
memorial. That's what I was. That was where my mind went.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. They let it, they opened the door to a thing that just didn't truly matter. And the Connor thing just didn't make sense because to me, okay, let's just encompass this in a real tight bubble. The story of this season, just like every other seasons of Titans, was too smart for the fucking writing room and too poor for the actual overall season.
If it was
It's
16
like they
episodes,
were
do you think it fixed it?
no, absolutely not.
Okay.
I think that they fell extremely short on trying to make sense of what they wanted to make sense on. They had a plan and it was poorly executed because the plan from the get-go was very bad. Period. Like very, very, very bad. Period. If they were able to say, here are the things that we want to accomplish. We want Brother Blood to be a bad guy. Okay, how do we get to that point? We want Robin to be a main character. How do we get to that point? If we want, Trigon to show up, how do we get to that point? They kept throwing all these things in, and each of them seemed like exits on the highway rather than like, different routes that you could take. And the exits fucking sucked. Like, you got right back off or right back on again.
Mm-hmm.
It made no sense. There was no reason to bring Trigon into this unless you were never going to plan on showing his face, and it was all like a fluff story for a reason for Brother Blood to gain power.
Right.
The moment where they were talking about the last episode where he stabbed Mother with a horn and he gained the power, in which I saw at that point was the fake mask and all that other bullshit, and he took Connor down. When this episode came back and Trigon said that she was a vessel, I'm like, I said it right before he said it. I'm like, that's fucking poor storytelling, because if I can figure it out, there's no way it should be on the story.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I'm not a writer. If I can say these things right before they're about to happen, you fucked up. Like, you screwed up as a storyteller.
I agree. If I know exactly what's going to happen next, it's bad.
Yeah.
Like, it makes me less interested. Yeah, it makes me less interested, and it's just
the main thing I got off of this season is I didn't really care about the characters. I don't know. It just seems like I lost that connectivity, because like the other seasons, it's like, okay, you kind of rooting for them. You're like, yeah, I want to see them. I want to see this, but it's just like, okay, let's fast forward to Corey. I wanted her to sacrifice herself, because I felt like with her coming back, that was too easy of a happy ending.
Okay.
It's like part of me gets it, but the other part is I feel like it just it might have at least tried to solidify a little bit of the realism of the story, even though it was just kind of off the rails. And
there's no explanation.
Yeah, and ultimately it's like, you go into it saying, you're going to make this sacrifice, you can do this, but it just makes it show that these characters, they don't know who they are. They don't know their own power. Nobody knows anything.
It makes Dick Grayson look like a bad leader, to be truly honest with you. And for such a badass character, it makes him look like a bad leader.
But at some point in this show, I thought too, we see more shows now that have more main actors. Whereas when we grew up, we saw a bunch of things that were one main actor or maybe two, like him and a sidekick. And when you got crossover stories, you got team up stories, those were different. But that's why I go back to X-Men all the time, is because X-Men always seemed like it was the main group of actors that you had together. And so when you try to bring them into something like Titans, and like on the big screen, whether the big little or the big screen, man, like that's a whole lot happening at one time on one moment with all these people. And this show couldn't pull it off very well. It started to have its moments where you're like, Raven was brought in because Dick put the jacket around her shoulders and say, like, it's going to be all right, kid, for like, the same way that someone did for him when he was young. And, there was those parallels, but you start bringing in Gar, you start bringing in any other person, and you're just like, you're muddling the story, like it's getting too complicated.
Right.
So they had a tough time with separating those storylines rather than trying to bring them all together, because they did not do a good job bringing them all together.
No, I agree. I think that where Titans went wrong was where they were trying to go too fantastical with the story. I think that they could have just easily, for 3 seasons, if you're going to go 3 seasons, told a Deathstroke story and had Deathstroke be the bad guy who gets away at the end. Deathstroke and Lex Luthor. And you've got 2 villains right there that can fill up 3 seasons, and you can team them up. Deathstroke 1 season, Lex Luthor the next season, team up 3rd season. Bam, there you go. Better show than anything you give me with Trigon.
Well, you knew this season was going to be screwed up anyways after you killed Lex after like one episode. I mean, that's
right.
Kind of
Right. And the character they had to play Lex, the actor I thought looked pretty good. I like that. It was a kind of a John Travolta type Lex Luthor, but I liked it.
And Connor, like let's talk about Connor for a second. He spent all season being the potential bad guy, and even if he was playing undercover, the moment they talked about at the end of this, which is like, did you do it selfishly or did you do it to help? That him and Dick having that talk at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It was important because that truly is what really matters, like in real life at the end of all of this. And I don't feel like Connor was on the side of like, I did it to help everybody. There was definitely what felt like, from what we were led to believe, selfish moments. And they definitely played hard on the heartstrings, like the end with him having hair again and trying to fly. I don't feel like, look, if you got two daddies and one of them's Lex Luthor and the other one is Superman, I don't think Lex Luthor is going to be the fucking person you think he's going to be next to Superman.
Right, but you don't know that. I mean, we know that in this universe because we know who Lex Luthor is, but they don't know that. Look, it's funny because like there's that moment where you're just talking about right there, Ross, and this is where like I kind of have to disagree with Dick in this point, where he's like, well, it's okay to do the wrong thing sometimes if it's for the right reason. No, it's not. It's not okay to do the wrong thing sometimes if it's for what you think is the right reason. You're telling me it's okay to murder somebody if it's for the
Well,
right reason?
that's drastic.
You're
right.
telling well, okay. You're telling me it's okay to steal from somebody to feed your family? No, it's not. Sorry, it's not. It's not okay to steal from somebody to feed your family. It's not okay sometimes to do the right thing for the wrong thing for the right reasons.
But he
Sometimes
wasn't
maybe
doing those things.
you're right. So that's what I'm saying. That's a very wrong statement. It's a very blanket statement to make.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to pull the morality out of it.
The majority of the time, no, it's not right to do the wrong thing for the right reason because the right reason is a selfish reason, whether it be for your family or not. It's a selfish reason, So no, it's not a good idea to do the wrong thing for the right reason most of the time.
Most
Most of the time. Sometimes it is, but most of the time it's not. And that's where I disagree with him. And then I was like, I heard that, and I was like, no, that's not quite right. Like, yeah, doesn't make sense to me. But
and I got another question for you. This game that Sebastian came up with, is that freaking Tetris?
It's Tetris on crack.
I mean, what the? That's the only thing he harped on. It's like, I wanted to bring something to the world. I wanted to bring people together.
You know what?
That was ludicrous. I'm sorry. That was absolutely ludicrous.
That was a precursor for him saying the stuff at the end of bringing the world together type thing. Yes. That was the precursor for that.
This whole woe was me shit. I was like, dude.
It's a very weak story plot. Very, very, very weak written story plot. It did give me the best moment that I think that I appreciated from Tim Drake in this episode and series season. And that was where he's like, hey, your game, it was shit. And I'm like, yeah, finally, someone said it. It was shit. Because it was shit.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that I want to defend Titans so bad because it does have some great moments. Like I try to tell my friends like who haven't watched, I'm like, just watch the opening scene with Robin. Like that opening scene in the alley. It's one of the baddest ass scenes, just the way it looks, the action, the suits, everything. But then there's so many bad moments.
And I was so in love with it. Like the beginning, the first season, I was so in love with it. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. This is fantastic. This is great. And now it's like
Titans started to fail when they killed Wonder Girl and they got rid of Hawk and Dove.
Yeah, well,
that was the moment that right there was the moment they fell off the cliff. We've just been falling with them until now, and now they finally hit the bottom.
Well, they just always had the weak, ending the finales too. The weak finales hadn't helped either. I mean, it's like you have this great buildup you try to have this great buildup for these villains to where you're like, oh man, it's going to be like this awesome fight. It's really going to be like and then it's like you blink and you miss it.
Yeah, I did find myself interested in the fight scene. Like that, that's what I was going to say. There were parallels to the fight scene in the beginning with Robin of the series, and here with Nightwing and Tim Drake Robin, and like them fighting and them being the two non-power fools who are fighting the almighty powerful villain.
Mm-hmm.
I did like that, but I found myself definitely questioning while it was happening if it was worth it.
Right.
That's a real sour. That's a real sour moment to have.
Okay. So I think we've gone over the episode pretty well. We've talked about the characters. I think we've established things we like and the things we haven't. What's a good grade to give this entire series? Like, okay, if you're going to recommend this show to somebody who's never seen it before but likes comic book movies or likes this genre, what would you say and what grade would you give it? And I'll start. I would tell somebody there are some really good action scenes and some really good plot lines that run through this, but it never finishes correctly as far as the leads it brings you to. And in the end, I feel like you'll be more disappointed than you were excited about everything you saw. When I weigh it all out, I saw more bad things than good. If I had to tell somebody that, I'd say that. I'd give it a grade 1 through 5. I'd give it a 3 just because I love the costumes. I would say 2.5, but the graphics and the costumes and the tone were great, so a 3 for me. Sarah?
I think I agree with you. I think I would give it a 3 as well, because I mean there's some really great things to it with it, because in retrospect, I mean, that was one of the first things that we talked about. That's what got me into this, was Titans, because I loved it so much. I wanted to talk about it. I was like, oh my God, this is so awesome. This is great. Robin / Nightwing. I'm like, oh my God, this is nuts. This is great. Then it was like after the first season, after the finale, I remember us talking about like, what just happened here?
Right. Yeah.
But I mean, there's still some enjoyable moments, like you said, like the fights. Like the first season and second season, there was like really good leads up to the stories. I mean, like some of it. I mean, it's like I said, the finales fell flat. I still enjoyed it. I mean, I don't think it was something I'd probably go back and watch it again if just to have it like on the background or something. Because I'd like to watch the first season again just to kind of
watch Dove again.
Just to kind of just kind of refresh it, that kind of thing. I mean, it's not 100. It's not totally horrible. I've seen worse. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I mean, I'd give it a 3. I mean, there's certain things I'd love to fix. I wish they had fixed, but then they've had some really great things like costumes. Like I said, parts of their stories, you can kind of follow.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like with Gar, even though it was just, they did kind of bring him up and gave him a little bit more. I guess they kind of solidified him, gave him a little more of a purpose. But yeah, I think that's pretty much where I'm kind of sitting at now.
Yeah. No, I feel you. Like I said, I think you and I are kind of in the same boat. And Ross, I don't think you're going to stray very far. What do you think, man? Number grade, and what would you tell a friend?
I was totally thinking letter grade right off the bat, and I was thinking a D, so this gets a 2. Okay. And look, there were good moments that I appreciated from this series. When I say there were good moments, they were truly few and far between. There's so much that I could still talk about this one episode with the things that were happening in it, but the series overall had things that made me feel happy about the Titans and made me feel happy about the different renditions of Titans that we've seen and how they were able to bring something so, I don't want to say immature, but young to an older, mature phase of on-screen persona.
Right.
I think the writing absolutely failed this show. 110%. Mm-hmm. I liked most of the actors and actresses.
Yeah, I could say that.
I'm still kind of on the fence with Corey personally, and it's not.
I love her. Anna Dewar.
Yeah,
I love her.
I don't have a problem with her. I have a problem with what they gave her. I have a problem with the way they made her seem. Because there's plenty of moments to where you had like calm, pissed off Corey, blah blah blah, but then you had like that very like very low tone, like Corey understands what has to happen conversation, and she's being very, very personal about it. But you're like, be loud and proud. Like, you're fucking Starfire. Like, come out and be fucking hard about what you want to be about.
Okay.
And there was a lot of things that I missed about that. I was really displeased with how long it took them to get to a guard that I was happy with. I liked the characters that they had that they got rid of. I did like the Dick Grayson that they had. I don't feel like he was perfect, but I felt like he was very top notch.
The Jason Todd?
Not Jason Todd.
You're talking about Dick Grayson? Nightwing? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jason Todd was okay.
Okay.
I felt like the Jason Todd that they chose did a good version of like a younger person losing their mind, you know, kind of, and like losing their way, probably not their mind, losing their way, and then kind of coming back into the fold. I just there's so many things that I wish they wouldn't have dropped the ball on, and they did, and I don't know what else to say. Like, I want to give this like a middle of the ground grade.
You want
but
to feel
I can't.
better, yeah. We want it to be a better grade, but like I think
Yeah.
none of it's really bad about giving a bad grade. Okay, so I have 2 more questions for you about Titans, and then we'll be done. And they're pretty simple. Is one, if you could take any character from this show, actor and character, and put them in the live screen, who would it be? And 2, if you could take any character from the show, changed, like new actor, new storyline, everything, who would it be? For me, it's tough because for me, my favorite 3 characters of the show has got to be Starfire, Red Hood, and Nightwing. I loved all 3 of them. I think they all 3 looked great, phenomenal jobs in the acting roles. My heart tells me Nightwing, my head tells me Red Hood, and another part of my body tells me Starfire. So if I if I had to put one of these actor/actors' exact character in another one, I'm gonna go with my heart, and I'm gonna say Nightwing. If I'm gonna go with my head, and I want a character that I want to see live action in DC more than anybody else, I'm gonna go Red Hood. Because I think that the character that played Red Hood did a phenomenal job, but I think you can have another actor play that role pretty well, and you probably could with Nightwing too. But I absolutely love Brennan Thwop or Thwan, whatever his name is. Yeah, I loved his rendition of Nightwing. For me, if I'm going to pull it out of my head of what that guy is, that's it right there. So that's the guy. If I had to pull out of the show into the movies, that's who it would be. But if I could have any character I wanted, it'd be Red Hood because I love the character and I think he's a great story. So what say y'all?
Oh man, like if you want to talk about, here's what I want out of a Red Hood. I want someone who goes from Robin to the prime adolescence who dealt with loss, who dealt with shit, and then all of a sudden went Punisher status. Like I need the John Bernthal version of Red Hood. I need the full on fucking crazy, like this shit has hit the fan.
You need to
And
watch
I
some
need to be Red
animated
Hood.
movies.
Yeah,
You'll get that in the animated movies. Yep.
but I liked the version of Nightwing to an extent. He was too. No, that's not the right word. He was very much balanced with like the head and the heart, and like what made sense versus what didn't make sense. I didn't feel like Starfire was the right person for him to like pine the fence for.
I think that's comic accurate though.
And that's probably true, but I think that's because I didn't find the chemistry between him and Starfire like truly believable. I felt like it worked, but I didn't feel like I found it truly believable.
I'll give you that. It didn't feel natural. Didn't feel as natural because we didn't get enough from them like falling in love.
I like them both, but I didn't think that the Starfire actress. I once again, my problem is with the writing. It's not with what she put on there; it's with what she was given, and I could probably get on the same fence with Dick Grayson and what he was given. He did a good job of trying to make sense of it all. We definitely reached the 4th season where it's like, man, why are you sweaty all the time and you're wearing these polos and like what's going on with you? Like you come very far from like dark, grim Detroit City to Gotham City to like back to wherever you are again. Like your character, I'm trying to understand, and they didn't connect enough dots for me with what he made sense with in all of that.
Okay.
I needed to know why he. What's the best way for me to phrase this? I need to know why he felt like he had the funds. I need to know why he felt like he had the background and the like he was the person that was qualified to do these things. That he was the. I just didn't get that. There wasn't enough buildup. There wasn't enough story to give me that for him. And I feel like he could be a good person. So Your question was like, who are you going to change actor wise, right? And
Mhm.
who are you going to change? What was the other one?
Right. Who would you bring on as the actor and character you've seen in the show to the movies, and who would you bring on just the character, like Nightwing, Starfire,
Okay.
not the actress, but like so. If there's one, you may not have one. You may not have an actor you'd bring onto the big screen. So
I I I don't think Gar was perfect for Beast Boy, but I liked what was happening there. I liked it. Just should have happened a lot sooner. So I'm gonna have to probably say Nightwing. I'll probably bring him on to the movies.
the
That
actor and
actor,
character.
the
Okay.
actor to the character,
Okay.
because I feel like he has potential if he's written right.
Right.
And then, I mean, totally, you have to bring. Yeah, you have to bring Red Hood because there's so much story there that you're
Such a
really
good character too. Yeah.
able to like. If you tell that story right, it's completely 110% believable.
Mhm. Well, because Red Hood is so perfect, man. Because like he's portrayed to be somewhat of a bad guy, but realistically, he's like a combination. He's the perfect combination of Punisher and Batman.
Yeah, it's the
So
fallen
if
angel story, is
yes,
what it is.
yeah. So if you like the anti-hero story, that
Mhm.
guy is the anti-hero right there. That is the guy right there. Because it's one of those things where you're doing the right thing, but is it for a bad reason?
Yeah,
Type
yeah.
thing. It's like, what's the reason you're doing it for? Is it worth it if you're doing it for a bad, or you're doing the wrong thing, excuse me, for a good
I've
reason?
been doing all these
Is
good
it
things and they
worth
haven't
it?
amounted to anything. So like,
Right.
let me try this bad thing and see if it
Mhm.
works for me. Yeah.
Right. Sarah, what about you?
Sarah.
Oh, I'd 100% bring Nightwing to the big screen. The
So I think we all agree he's the best
actor and
character.
everything. I'd 100% bring him.
Okay.
As far as like, I don't think I would change. I look at Raven. I don't think I'd change the actress,
Okay.
but we got to do something with her story.
Yes. Yes. So much.
I mean, I feel like Raven was a cool character. I feel like there was a lot more to her than what they gave her.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you said, I just felt like she was done wrong. I mean, she was like, somebody's little kid sister, or like almost like the little almost girlfriend for Gar. I mean, that's how I kind of felt it. And I was like, man, there's got to be more to you. I mean, there's
Right.
you got to have more of a purpose, not to just even when the whole Trigon story is like, oh, I'm Trigon's daughter. Okay, what the hell does that mean?
Right.
It's just
Give
like
me more info. Yeah.
I mean, you have so much potential, and it's just like, Ross, and 100%, agree with you. It's like they just didn't flesh out these guys,
Mhm.
And it's just, in Starfire. I mean, yeah, there was, some moments I'm like, yeah, she's a badass. Other moments I'm like, seriously, can we be a little less emo?
Yep.
Right.
Let's be a little less mother figure here. I mean, let's just, be your badass self. But the way she evolved over the seasons was kind of because, I mean, you look like a straight hooker from the very first season. And now you finally evolve into, I guess who you're supposed to be. I don't know. The final look.
Got this fire in me. I'm like,
Well,
cool.
I mean, because you're walking around with like this mini skirt and this furry coat with the, the waved hair and like these boots, and I'm like, what is this?
She was a literal stripper, right? Right?
Well,
Isn't that what
exactly.
Yeah.
Can I point out too that like Starfire, the character in the comics, is a very sexualized character. Like She-Hulk sexualized. Like
Yeah, who isn't?
she's mainly not wearing anything and just about everything she's got on.
Oh yeah,
And
I mean,
she's a very sexualized character.
Mystique
So
looked like that. I mean, let's look how
they
they
toned that
drew
down quite a
Rogue. I
bit
mean,
in the show.
let's look
Yeah.
how they drew every female character in the comic.
Well, and to be fair, every male character too.
Yeah.
Is every male character not an Adonis? Okay, so I mean, you're right, they did, but that was the idea, is that you want everybody in these comics, male and female, to be the perfect body.
Your superheroes are supposed to be
Superhero. Exactly.
heroes.
That's the point. They're supposed to be superior to normal beings, male and female. So you're right, they do portray a lot of females very sexually in a lot of comimies, but they do the same thing with males.
To Sarah's point, it was very much it was very much current in the sense of like, you're not thinking that that's the superhero portion of her, whereas you're thinking like that's the that's the sex appeal. Like it's
But
straight up like stripper sex appeal. I understand what you're saying,
true, but that's
but
just a
there
mindset.
is a
That's an
there is a
opinion. Like
definitive
yeah,
difference.
yeah,
And like when if you're a kid versus an adult, like it may be easier for a kid to understand because they may not make all the parallels, like all the
right.
different divisions of all these things. But like as an adult, you're like, she's a stripper, not like a sex icon. Like she's a literal stripper. Like that is what she came from. Because I'm pretty sure she walked like out of something that was just like not a good situation for her from the beginning.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I mean, where they started her out in the story, she's definitely in a rough spot as a human being, or at least being on Earth, and they develop her from there. But yeah, I mean, y'all right. I get it. You're absolutely right. Like the female body is a much more beautiful thing to look at than the male body. So even a Adonis male body, a female body is going to get more attention. So it's a lot more sexual in the nature. So I get that, but I just feel like at least for the character, they toned her down quite a bit in the story. Like at the
They-
beginning, she was very much like
yeah.
that, but towards the end, she's insanely beautiful and sexy. But it's not a matter of because she's showing skin and wearing scantily
But she has more like
scant.
confidence. Now, I will give
Exactly.
that. I think my whole problem with these, like I said, I don't think it's with the casting. I think it's just the fact of it's the writing.
Yeah,
It's
the
absolute
writing is so
writing.
bad. Like
Because I mean, all these characters had such great potential. Regardless of whether it's comic book accurate or not. I mean, I just feel like they just kind of, especially they just kind of fell a little flat. Like just bit off more than they could chew.
No, I agree.
I think that look, I'm not gonna rob anything from you. Like the Coriander Starfire character, like she's cute and all, but the fact that they try to do more with her than what they give her bothers me. And it bothers me greatly because they don't give her the true story that she deserves. It's almost like they keep this grandiose thing that is her life within arm's reach that she can't touch. And none of it works in the way that it should. Like it doesn't give you the whereas Kal-El knew that his world was gone. Coriander still had all these ties, and there's a very big divide between those two stories for me personally, in the way they tell them. And look, I've gone on record on this show saying Henry Cavill as Superman was a fucking fine specimen as a human being. I got no problem with that. I don't ride that side of the fence, but the man is truly fucking a fine specimen as a human being.
Oh yeah. I give anything to look like him.
The story helps
And he's
that.
a huge nerd.
Yeah, totally. The story helps that though, right? Because the story truly follows up like the roots and the overall overarching story of Superman supports that. But he doesn't have anything to prove because like his world is gone.
Right.
And Coriander is in a different position, and it's tough to give something like that to an actress like that and say like, here's all your things and here's what you're supposed to say and here's how it's going to work. But you're like, okay, in one moment she's orange and then she's blue. And then like at the very end, she's orange again. Like, what is, you're not making sense with this. Like what is happening? And like, that's the thing. Like it is the storytelling that is the problem with this whole entire show.
And how do you have a wormhole in Star Lab?
Don't even get started on the wormhole because I have
fall off that branch.
so many problems with that.
We are sitting on that branch. Stop sawing it off. That's right. Seriously.
And it was so nonchalant about like, oh yeah, we've got this Icarus project. Yeah, it's a wormhole we've got, in the
that
Icarus
we've
lab.
never mentioned a single time in the entire series. Yep, I agree. That was another
And
thing
the
with me.
whole way that they're describing it is as like this ship is making its way to the planet, and it's like that's not how wormholes work. What is happening with this description and this writing? Why are we doing this?
See, they
There
should have just
is
left that
no
alone,
reason.
Figure something else out. They should have done something more grandiose with Trigon because that right there was just stupid.
Yeah, it didn't look very good. I mean, look,
And it was
I think
just-
we can all say that Titans fumbled the ball. They
Yeah.
fumbled on the goal line. I think they had the great opportunity to tell a really good story here, and they had some really good stuff, and they had good actors and great costumes and everything
But
else. They
raise your
just
hand if you were really
fumbled.
surprised.
No, not surprised at all. To be honest with you, I was hoping the finale was going to be good because we've gone through 2 bad ones. But surprised? No,
Keeping
not
it
at
real.
all. Yeah.
My
Keeping it
question
real.
to you: what did we just watch? That was a finale that they talked about everyone dispersing at the very end, because I had a complete deja vu at the very end of this. Look, first off, the Christmas Eve scene made no sense to me.
Totally misplaced for no reason at all. Yeah, it didn't pay off. There was nothing else. I guess it was to show that they had established themselves as a family.
Yeah,
the only thing I
they
could
were
think of,
they
but
were
you're
at
right.
the fucking
Absolutely no
the Wayne
sense.
Manor at some point, and they were having a Christmas Eve. Made no sense. But then they're talking about Gar's gonna go back to the Red, and Bloodhaven College, and Robin's gonna go do a thing. Okay, what do we just watch that they had just all talked about this? They just all decided to go different routes. Because I tried to pick my brain. I'm like, it wasn't Mandalorian. It wasn't Picard. What was it? They were all sitting in a position where they were like, we're going to all go do different things. And I'm like, maybe it was Picard, but then it wasn't, because I was trying to think about it.
They were sitting
And
together
like, maybe
at the
it was
end, but
Mandalorian. What was it? What was it that we watched and they just talked about doing this? Because this did not feel like an original idea to me, even though it may have been for them at the time when they were writing it and someone beat them to the punch. But that's pretty shitty to be beat by the punch by a show that just came out, I feel like, no more than a month before, and I'm refilling all of these things all over again.
Are you thinking about Ocean's 11?
No, not at all.
No, I'm just like, that sounds like that. No, you're right. There was something, but I can't remember what it is. I'll stop.
Almost like it was like Guardians. Like Guardians 3.
It was fucking Guardians. That's what it was.
Yeah. Spoilers.
Right.
No, I haven't seen it. I actually thought about going to see it.
Yeah,
maybe Sunday. But,
you're in here. I'm laying the wrong way. You're in here.
Nah, man, I get it. Like I said, we can all agree that they just kind of fumbled this whole finale, and we're not going to get any more Titans. But I hope this means that we're not going to get any more of these characters on the big screen later. To be truly honest with you, because we have been due a proper Robin. I think Nightwing deserves his respect. Look, take the entire Gotham Knights game and make that a movie. Okay, and I'm cool. I'm cool with that. Give me Batgirl, give me Nightwing, give me Tim Drake, give me Jason Todd, or give me who else I said Nightwing. Anyway, give me all of them. Like, I'm down for it.
Give me all the Robins.
Give me Carrie Kelly. Shit, I don't even care, man. Like, seriously, just give me some.
I'll take a Lego Batman. I know we had a Lego Batman movie, but let me have like all the rest of them in there.
Yeah. They are good. I will say the Lego Batmans are good. You know what? Here, the biggest question out of this whole entire thing, questions, because I think there's more than one. Number one, how is Gar going to be introduced into this whole Doom Patrol series finale? Number two, when is the series finale going to come out? Because I need what is going to happen with Doom Patrol, because I'm all about that craziness. The stupid story writing helps me understand that. Whereas I feel like I need more cohesiveness in Titans. Doom Patrol just gives me the absolute insanity that, like, I'm fine with.
So let me ask you then, are they fumbling the ball by not ending Doom Patrol before Flashpoint? I feel like they kind of are. What's the point of having Doom Patrol
6 episodes? No, they can still do 6 episodes. Can they do 6 episodes?
We've got like 6 weeks till Flashpoint comes out. It's not very long. It's the middle of next month, right?
No, can they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is that a bad idea? Like, if you're going to end this,
I need a phone. Hold on.
Are you going to have that after Flashpoint? Like I said, I don't know what the exact dates they are. They're airing that, and I don't know exactly when Flashpoint comes out, but I'm pretty sure we're pretty close.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, they don't be able to do 5 right now.
Yeah, so they can't even finish. So that's a bad thing, right? Like,
I mean, I feel like they could go a couple weeks and not be that big of a deal.
What if they end Doom Patrol with the entire universe just vanishing into nothing because Flashpoint is zapped everything away. Like,
God, I would love it. I would love it.
Cliff's like, what the fuck? And then all of a sudden everything goes white. And then it just
Yep.
explains Flash reset everything. Oh my God. What a cop out. They could do it though. I don't know.
Don't give me a cop out. I love that series. I love it for its stupidity.
No, I love Doom Patrol, but that would be a cop out. So.
But the story writing on Doom Patrol is light years beyond Titans, and I don't mean that in like it makes sense. I mean that in because like there are so many different. They're telling a story in tiers on Doom Patrol, and they're not doing it on Titans.
Right. I get that. Well, y'all, I got nothing else to talk about tonight. We came in tonight with one show on the docket, no news, and we've talked for 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is pretty fucking phenomenal. I'd say I think that we're professionals. We just don't get paid for it, which technically you can't be professional if you don't get paid. But yeah, so we're pro fans. Let's put it that way. But I got nothing else I want to say about anything. Did y'all have any other points you want to bring about Doom Patrol, about Titans, or anything else coming up?
I do like Titans. I don't hate it. People don't get that wrong.
You give it a
I just
2.
don't think
You
it was
must
that
love
great.
it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I still
it.
like it. I mean, I'm not in love with it like I was before. I mean, because it's just
it's a
kind of like
watch.
that. It's kind of like that ex-boyfriend that you just love. You still want to be friends with, but you're just like, I can do without you. So I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I don't mind having you around, but it's not something I need, but I still enjoy.
Well, let's put it this way. I know
It's been real. It's been good, but it has not been real good.
Right. I know that none of us were insanely like, oh my gosh, when is Titans coming out next? When we heard it was coming out, I was like, oh, cool, it comes out here. But we were never like, oh my God, I can't wait for Titans to come out again. So it wasn't that kind of show. It just wasn't. Like, it was cool when it came out and we'll watch it and it's fun. But I think 3, 3, and 2, that's what? 8 divided by 3, that's what? 3.7, 3.8. No, not even that much. 3.2, somewhere in there. We're just slightly above a 3 for what we grade Titans to be. So middle of the road show. I like the characters. I hope to see more of them in the future, but time will tell. We'll see what James Gunn's DC universe is going to unfold.
I'm going to tell you what I truly worry about is that for the next couple of weeks, we don't have a lot to talk about.
Well, we do have a few guests coming up in the next few weeks, but we could always take a break because all 3 of us work really hard. I know all 3 of us every once in a while just want to have a Friday night off. So we definitely might be taking a break based on slow content. And there's always a ton of stuff to cover, but we just want to watch fun shows. This is not a job. This is us having fun as friends, talking about things we like. So we're not making it like a job. So if we don't have something to talk about and we don't come for 1 week, don't worry. For all you tens and tens of fans out there, we'll be back. We will be back, I promise. But I got nothing else. Do y'all want to go ahead and wrap things up?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Cool deal. All right. Well, I guess with all that being said, Sarah, where can they find you at?
You can find me on Twitter at MyLadyKitten. I'm bad around there for a little bit, so.
And you can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter is my personal handle. And check out GCS Podcast 1's a show handle. Beyond that, no other way to contact me. Ross?
Through what they said.
It's that key. All right, cool deal. Well, folks, I guess there's not really much else to say. So I guess until next week, just